What is going on, folks? Week 15 here. We are back with week one of the fantasy football playoffs. My name is Pete Nova. You can find me at Supernova38 on Twitter. I am with my colleague Michael Hauff. You can find him at the FF Realist. Mike, what's going on?
Not much, man. Ready to win some. Let's win some playoff games, shall we? I mean, that's what I'm aiming for. Got a lot of good football today too.
Yeah. The 4 o'clock slate's pretty good. That Rams Detroit game should be good. Denver Green Bay should be good as well. Even the Colts game. I mean, the Seattle's favored by 14 points. I took the Colts to cover that.
Yeah, I'm kind of annoyed that the Niners are on at 4:00 because I would love to pay a ton of attention to Phillip Rivers, seeing if a grandfather can still hack it in the NFL. But yeah, I'll check it out. We'll do the old quad box.
The 1 o'clock slate's not like as good, but I mean you still get Buffalo and the Patriots. It's probably the best game on the slate.
Sure.
The Chiefs and the Chargers, with whatever the Chiefs have left at this point.
Ravens and Bengals isn't too bad.
Yeah, Ravens Bengals should be good.
Right.
So yeah, I mean that's where we're at. So we do have a super chat in here first. I don't know if Dazed Full you're still here, but I did chat you back when you did send it in because you sent it in a little bit early. So we'll make sure we pull that, and then Zachlin, we'll get to you. Said Strange or Ferguson in a half-point PPR. So to start off the show here with this question, I have Strange ahead of Terrence Ferguson or Jake Ferguson. I feel like ever since Lamb and Pickens have been there. Ferguson's production has dropped off. Now, this is a matchup with with the Vikings in this game where I expect there to be points. Any game that Dallas plays in, though, we expect there to be points. And Ferguson hasn't gone over 11 points since week 7. He's consistently given us about 8 to 9 to 10 points. If you're looking for the higher ceiling, I would roll with Bretton Strange. If you're looking for a safer floor, I would go with Terrence Ferguson. I mean, Jake Ferguson.
Yeah.
I don't know why Terrence Ferguson.
What the fuck's wrong with you, man? Come on now. Jeez, man. People aren't going to like the show, which, by the way, feel free to like the show. Yeah, I tend to agree with the whole floor and ceiling philosophy. Yeah, I would say if you're someone who went up, we're probably going to get questions about like I went up against Kyle Pitts. What do I do? Kind of thing.
Yeah.
In that case, I would go with the Bretton Strange. Game is in Jacksonville, so it should be good weather over there as opposed to some of the other games on the slate today.
Yeah, the big concern is Jacksonville goes up, and Bretton Strange maybe doesn't feast like we want him to because the game gets away. But you could say the same thing with the Vikings game. I mean, Dallas could go up, and Vikings, this offense is not in a position where they can chase points. And so maybe so you could make the argument for both there. But yeah, so I think we're in alignment there. Let's go to Steven Drakes with another super chat. It said, fellas, half-point PPR, need 2 between Rico Dowdle, Warren, and Genty, also likely or Warren. So I'm assuming this is Tyler Warren. And then you have Rico Dowdle and Genty. So let's start with the running backs first. For the running backs, I have Genty ranked ahead of Rico. I think Chuba is kind of starting to make his presence known again a little bit, which has me a little bit concerned. And also there was a little bit of Rico missed some practice coming out of the bye week, which was a little strange. But either way, I would go with Genty over Dowdle. And then in terms of Warren or Dowdle, that one's a little bit closer.
In terms of Dowdle or Warren, you're saying?
Yeah, that one's the closer part. I think Genti's the definite start for me. I mean, Genti's getting a lot of receiving work. I think they're going to be playing from behind in that game a lot. So that's kind of how I look at it.
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with Genty here. The tide
Yeah.
is kind of turning, which is kind of what you were talking about in terms of Carolina, in terms of the running back share. I was trying to pull that up. The last 2 weeks or so. Yeah, I mean, we've seen a major shift in Chuba and Dowdle's getting more to even, or if not favoring Hubbard a little bit more. So I would go Hubbard there. I mean, I would not go Dowdle. Apologize. Go Genty there, and then I would go Warren over Dowdle. That's kind of how I
I'm
play.
taking a look here from a betting market perspective. Tyler Warren plus 410 to score a touchdown. He's projected to go over 3.5 catches. So you're looking at likely about 4 receptions for him, and they're sitting him at about 35.5 yards. So I mean, it depends on because with Warren, he could get a lot of garbage time if this game is as lopsided as the books think it's going to be, where Seattle's is minus 14. Then Warren could get a lot of garbage time receptions and kind of So I get that. I'm curious to see. I'm going to take a look now. I'm curious to see where they have Rico Dowdle projected. In terms of the betting markets, because like I said, with Rico, he did miss some time. Now they are projecting Rico for 80.5 rushing plus receiving yards. So that puts him at about 8 points right there. And Tyler Warren was projected for 35 yards and about 4 catches. So if you're looking at that, Rico's projected for 3 receptions. He's projected for 80.5. He's minus 105 to score. I would go with Rico Dowdle here. I mean, he's not even plus money to score a touchdown, where Warren is plus 400. He's minus 105. So Vegas is pretty much saying they expect Rico to score here. And then you look at even just the yards, he's doubled the yards. And just 1 less reception. So I would go with Rico Dowdle, and I would go with Ashton Genty. I'd go with the 2 running backs. Even if it is a split with Chuba more than what we saw in the past, I still think Rico can be good. I think with Warren, Warren wasn't that successful with even Daniel Jones the last few weeks, and I like Warren, but so it's that's why it's a little bit like kind of up and down. Now, betting markets for Chuba, they have him plus 280 to score a touchdown. So they still believe that this is Rico's backfield. And then the yards total, they have him at 50 with receiving plus rushing, and then receptions. They actually have him projected to have less receptions than Rico Dowdle. So I would go with Genty, and I would go with Rico Dowdle there.
Yeah, you kind of threw all that, which was very good. You've actually kind of swayed me. I would go Genty and then Dowdle there. Then,
okay,
good talk.
Unknown baller said Judkins or Neal from points full PPR. Yeah, I have Judkins ahead. It's going to be really, really cold there. I don't think you're going to want to tackle Quinshon Judkins in this kind of weather. I think they're, the biggest concern is the Chicago get up big and they get away from it. But I mean, Quinshon Judkins is even money for a touchdown. He's projected for 87.5 rushing plus receiving yards. I think Judkins makes a lot of sense. I like Devin Neal. He's giving us a consistent floor since he's been named the starter at about 10 PPR points. But I think the tough thing is that the offense is a little inconsistent. He's also plus 190 to score a touchdown. His yards are much are almost half of what they're projecting for Judkins. And receptions wise, he's pretty much he's projected 1 more catch than Judkins. So I would go with Quinshon Judkins over Neal. I have Neal as my RB23 this week. I have Judkins as RB16.
Yeah, I'd go Judkins as well. This game, as you referenced, is going to be in Chicago, and the Bears have allowed in the last 4 weeks. They've had 2 games in which they've allowed more than 20 points, and week 14 where they didn't allow 20 points, they allowed 18.3. So they're right there. So in sandwiched in there's a 7.2 week. But yeah, I would take that matchup, and yeah, I just think Judkins gets more work personally. So
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and I mean, it's like I said, it's going to be a cold game there. I think it's projected to be the coldest game in Chicago that's been played ever. I think
wow,
the high is 10 degrees, but they're expecting it to be in the negatives in this game. Um,
yeah,
so
it's
yeah,
supposed to. It says as of right now, it says it feels like -15.
yeah, and
That's
that's
yeah,
brutal.
that
Caleb
that
Williams,
blows.
USC guy. I mean, in the cold weather, we'll see.
Mm, yeah.
Um, Jared Ford said Henderson or Neal, PPR, and Dak or Burrow. So for me, I'm taking Dak over Burrow. Dak playing in the dome, Burrow playing in cold weather. They get to see Burrow a second time, this defense, whereas Dak is playing Minnesota, who hasn't seen him at all, and they don't see the Cowboys extremely often. So I think Dak and the Cowboys have an upper hand here. And Burrow played lights out. He played great. And honestly, you could say that's going to be a more competitive game, most likely. He is down T. Higgins in that matchup, so they are down a weapon there. I prefer Dak over Burrow. I have Dak as my quarterback, I think 3 this week. Yeah, I have him ahead of Lamar. I have him as QB3 ahead of Lamar, ahead of Drake May, and I have Joe Burrow at quarterback 6 this week.
Yeah, there'll be some instances in which I still go Joe Burrow, even with the weather, but I'm not doing it here. I will go Dak Prescott. Just better elements, and I just project him to have a better game. In terms of the running back position, I'm going Henderson. Going Henderson this spot. I mean, Ramondre is still getting work. I mean, what is it? Last 2 weeks before the bye, because they were one of 4 teams of the bye last week. He's still at 48% of the rushing attempts. So I'll go Trevion Henderson there over Neal. I just think Neal. I don't want to say dart throw, but it does feel like you're just kind of throwing it up there, as opposed to I feel like you could feel more confident in Henderson. For me personally.
Yeah. I mean, Neal has been kind of throttling between 10 points and then he had, I think, 15 last week. Henderson hasn't had below 11 points since week 8. And as you noted, right, even with Stevenson that came back, the opportunities were there. Buffalo 28th in terms of points allowed on the season to the running back position. I do think Stevenson's going to be more involved this week than people expect, coming off a bye, an extra week healthy, and that will be frustrating. But Devin Neal, I mean, you're probably putting him out there hoping for a 10 spot, and you can expect Henderson to at least get you 10. The ceiling is higher with Henderson for sure. So I would go with Henderson as well in that spot.
By the way, we got 51 people watching, but not that many likes. So feel free to slap that like button. Helps us out immensely.
Yeah, give us some likes. It helps us out, guys. We got a boss here. He said, "Help wanted. Best kicker, Hauff, San Francisco, Ravens, or the Lions."
I have Tyler Loop ranked the highest out of these 3. I currently have Tyler Loop ranked as 7th, Eddie Pinheiro as 9th, and then Jake Bates as 11. Loop and Pinheiro will finish within a few points of each other. I think when you look at Pinheiro, you think to yourself, all right, well, do they get ahead? Do they score a lot of touchdowns? In which case, Pinheiro's not getting field goal opportunities because that hurts the score. I'm going to go Loop here slightly over Eddie Pinheiro. What was that? Ravens going up against? I apologize. Well, yes, that's right. The Bengals. Yeah, I talked about that earlier. Yeah, so I would go ahead. I would take that matchup. If I'm looking at the Bengals here, let me see the Bengals points allowed over the last couple of weeks. Where are you, silly Bengals? Yeah, I mean, last 4 weeks, they've had 2 games in which they've allowed 10 or more points. Week 12, they allowed 18. 2 weeks prior to that, they allowed double-digit points too. So there's a trend there. So, yeah, give me Tyler Loop.
Okay. And you got one more from Daysful. He said, Boswell, Tyler Loop, or Cam Little. He's feeling a little desperate.
That's a Cam Little spot for me. I mean, the Jets, I just talked about the trend of the last few weeks. Last 4 weeks, the Jets have allowed 10 points, 11 points, 8 points, and 13 points to the kicking position. Number 1 in terms of points allowed to kickers in fantasy football. But yeah, so give me that. And they haven't had a single week in which they allowed a kicker to score less than 5 points. So I'll take those odds. So I'll go Cam Little there.
Awesome. A lot of love in the chat. Appreciate everybody popping in. Yeah, make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you like the show. As always, we're always going to prioritize the super chats first. Those people that pay to have their questions answered. We are through the super chats, so we're going to go ahead and start the next question behind the last super chat because some of the questions are old and we just want to make sure people are still here. So if you still have a question and you sent it in before, just send it in again. We try our best to get to everybody, but we also don't want to answer questions from 15 minutes ago in case people aren't here still. Mills in the house said 41 watching, 11 likes. Come on, guys. Yeah, please give us some thumbs up, folks. It helps us out tremendously. And so we always say this too with the super chats. We'll go a little bit deeper into the matchup and your question and stuff because we get so many questions. If it's not a super chat, a lot of times we're not going to go as in depth because we're trying to get to the next question. So just keep that in mind too. If you want a little bit more context, you can send in a super chat and we'll be happy to answer it. Down against Bijan, Watson for Kyle Murray half-point PPR. Kyle Monungai. I'm assuming this is what he means. I mean, yeah, Monungai, he's been good. I understand this question. Christian Watson's been hot as well, and you got to factor in that Christian Watson's got a really tough matchup. He's going up against Denver. I have Christian Watson as a low-end wide receiver too. I have Kyle Monungai, as my running back 30 though. I don't have Monungai extremely high. He's plus 120 for a touchdown, 57.5 rushing yards. Monungai is the player that you play if you're looking for a safe play, but he's projected 3.5 receiving yards. So, he's not going to catch many passes. Maybe you get lucky and he catches one. I mean, he's at minus 230 to have one catch. That there maybe he gets two, right? So you're really hoping Monungai scores a touchdown, which he's at plus 120. So, 57.5 yards is the projection. Maybe he falls into the end zone. I think the ceiling for Monungai is about 12 to 15 points. Christian Watson, while he plays Denver, and Denver is a tough matchup, their defense has been a little bit leaky to big plays over the last couple of weeks, and Christian Watson can give you a big play. If you're down versus Bijan, you need ceiling here, and Christian Watson gives you the best chance for ceiling. Now, it's a tougher matchup. He's at plus 190 to score a touchdown, but his yards are set at 60. So he's set at higher yards than Kyle Monungai at 60, and his receptions are set at 3.5. So with the yards plus the receptions alone, Christian Watson is the clear winner here. Now you just worry which guy scores a touchdown. But regardless, if you're expecting Watson to get 3.5 catches and all those yards, there's a chance he makes a big play there, which we've seen the last couple of weeks. So I think Christian Watson's the easy play for me here if I'm going between the two.
I'm actually going. I'm going Kyle Monungai here, and listen. Both matchups aren't ideal, but when I look at because they're going up against the Browns, that one again in Chicago. We advertised it's a cold game, yada yada. But the Browns have had 5 games in which they've allowed 20 or more points of running backs. Those have all come in the last 5 weeks, including 2 games in which they allowed 30 or more points. So the tide is sort of turning there, I guess. Like if you're looking at just the points scored, yeah, they're towards the bottom half of the league. But when you look at these last 5 weeks, I mean, they've allowed over 50% of the points that they've allowed to the running back position has come in the last 5 games. So it's tight, this one, but yeah, give me Kyle Monungai here.
Yeah, for me, I just think for the ceiling, if you're down to Bijan, that's kind of my thinking there. But I can understand, I can understand the thought process there as well.
Yeah, it's a close one.
But Boss with another super chat said, "Got Pearsall, Worthy, Charbonnet. I have to start too." Yeah, this is a brutal spot to be in here. I have Zach Charbonnet as my running back 40, meaning I just do not want to start Zach Charbonnet this week. It's just flat out RB 40. You can get by maybe if you said RB 50, I mean wide receiver 40 to 30, like you can get by because you can expect maybe a big play. Charbonnet, it's just, I don't think the ceiling's very high, and I'm just not in love with the matchup either. So I'm probably going with the two wide receivers alone, right? I mean, Pearsall hasn't been good, and Hauff, you can speak to it more than anybody as a 49ers fan, but he gets a good matchup in Tennessee. They come off of a bye. He gets an extra week to get healthy. They can self-scout, kind of look at what's going on with this offense, where the deficiencies are, right? And Kyle Shanahan coming out of the bye, I think he'll have a better game plan for Ricky Pearsall, who I just don't think has been fully healthy, even though they took him a while for him to get back. He doesn't look right on the field. But I'm going with Ricky Pearsall, and I would go with Xavier Worthy against the Chargers. No more Keith Brown. No more Keith Brown. I don't love Xavier Worthy at all. I have him as wide receiver 40. I have Pearsall at 42. I have Charbonnet at 40 at their respective positions. So I'm going with the two guys in Worthy and Pearsall there. I'll go with the wide receivers.
Also, a very useless fun fact. Today is Kyle Shanahan's birthday today. So just in case anybody gives a shit about that, you probably don't, and that's fine. Yeah, I'm not going with Charbonnet here. You know, at least once a show, I have to mention that I don't trust the Seahawks backfield. But I will, what you were kind of illustrating the point. I mean, this isn't a slam dunk answer. I mean, Pearsall last 3 weeks, again, they had to bye. They're one of those 4 teams coming off bye, but in the 3 weeks prior, 12% target share. That's behind George Kittle with 26, Juwan Jennings with 23, and even Christian McCaffrey, of course, with 21, which, by the way, we're not panicking about Christian McCaffrey. But I would take Pearsall over Charbonnet in this spot. So, yeah, give me Ricky Pearsall, and then give me Worthy, even though I feel like Worthy is the biggest start throw, probably, in my opinion, out of these names.
Yeah, well, Marquise Brown is out, by the way, due to, I guess, he's got a personal matter going on, so he's not going to be in this one. Make sure, yeah, I took him out of my rankings. I was just making sure.
Personal matters suck.
Aaron's in the house said, full PPR, need to, Genty, Neal, or Tet. Yeah, I'm going to go with Genty for sure. And then Tet for sure as well. Against the Saints, I'll go with Tet. I know Tet has been a little bit underwhelming the last couple of weeks, but he's going up against the Saints in a matchup that, look, Panthers have a chance to take this division by the balls a little bit this week with a win, with the Bucs losing on prime time. So I think they'll come out ready. Tet, look, he hasn't been phenomenal in terms of the volume hasn't been there the last 2 weeks, but he still has 4 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks. He's got a touchdown in every single game the last 3. And he goes up against the Saints, who are 10th in terms of points allowed to the wide receiver position. But I think that's a little misleading because I think a lot of teams go up big on the Saints, and there's no need for them to go guns blazing through the air. So I'm going to probably bench Neal here. And if you know me, you know I really like Devin Neal, but I'm not starting him over either of these guys.
Yeah, I get it. Neal is the flashy name because there's no Alvin Kamara. People want to get excited. People want to be on that bandwagon when it takes off.
Too. I mean, it's a good matchup too.
It is, but I'm going same as you. I'm going Genty. Genty's a constant one here, and then Tet too, because I buy into the whole thing. They could smell blood in terms of the NFC South, and I think they'll use Tet to get that upper hand there since the Buccaneers screwed things up Thursday. Apologize, but yeah. So give me Genty, give me Tet.
Okay.
Terrible. Right? Next week. What am I saying? What's the matter with me?
Michael's in the house. Appreciate the super chat. Said full PPR flex, Jaylen Warren, Aaron Jones, Breece Hall, Christian Rodriguez, or Justin Jefferson. I would go with Aaron Jones over Jaylen Warren, I think. I know it's pretty close between the two, but you're talking about one guy here, Hall, and Breece Hall is the name that you want to start off of just the name, but with Brady Cook at quarterback, it's really hard for me to feel comfortable rolling him out there. Jaylen Warren goes up against Miami. He's in a split timeshare. Miami's run defense has been the best over the last 4 or 5 weeks, that limiting running backs to points. I'm not going C-Rod. I'm going with Justin Jefferson here. It's hard. I get it. You don't want to start Justin Jefferson because of everything. I still have that wide receiver 15. It's a good matchup against them. They'll be playing from behind. Go down on your sword with the stud. I'm not going down with Chris Rodriguez in my lineup. In a must-win week for me. I just can't do it.
Well, also, I think Rodriguez is a game time decision. I think I saw that earlier, in between shoveling, taking a union break. So
Mm.
yeah, so I would pay attention to that as well. I'm going. I'll go. Shit. So you said I'll go Justin Jefferson, but you said Aaron Jones.
It's
Is
only
that what
picking
you
one here.
said?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
only
you're only
picking
picking
one
one.
though.
Okay, all right. Because I was going to be concerned about taking two Vikings, but yeah,
Yeah.
I'll go
For
Justin
for
Jefferson in
what it
that spot.
for what it's worth, Jefferson's line is set at 5 catches, uh 55 and a half
Sure.
yards, and he's plus 175 to score a touchdown. Right. I don't want to start Brees Hall.
Yeah.
Jalen Warren's in a tough matchup
I
too.
know.
It's Jefferson has the best matchup here, and you're just hoping that they can replicate a little bit of what they did last week. That's it. And Jefferson
Yeah.
wasn't good last week.
No, no, and the knee jerk response is to pick Brees Hall, and like you said, it's based on name value. But even when you look at the Jaguars, they don't give up a ton of points to running backs either. So
Yeah.
that's a little scary as well. So yeah, they haven't allowed 20 points to running backs in the last. You have to go back to week 10 when the last time they allowed 20 or more points to an opposing running back. So yeah.
Yeah, and Dallas on the season has given up the most points to the wide receiver position. Now, the last 4 weeks, they're still fourth in points allowed. They're giving up 40 points a game in the last 4 weeks. They've given up 54 receptions, 689 yards, and 6 touchdowns. So I like Dallas defense this week. It has nothing to do with that, but I'm gonna start Justin Jefferson. I'll go
By
down
the
on
way,
the sword with him.
we got 66 people watching and about 30 or so likes. So do that thing,
We're
people.
getting there. We're getting there.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Another super chat from Aaron. Appreciate the super chats, folks. Like we said, if you send in a super chat, we'll make sure we prioritize it and get to you. If you guys are not sending in super chats, we will get to you guys once they slow down. We'll do our best. But a lot of these questions, there might be answering some of your questions. So just
Sure.
stick around, hang out with us. We'll get you good to go. Aaron also said this is a fun one. Full PPR, Isaiah Likely or Tyler Warren. I'm going with Tyler Warren here. If Mark Andrews wasn't healthy, I would say Isaiah Likely for sure. Cincinnati
Yep.
Bengals are absolutely terrible at defending the tight end position.
Mm.
Likely 2.5 receptions. So Warren's projected for one more. He's projected for 10 less yards than Warren, and he is projected at a higher odds to score a touchdown. But I'm going to go with Tyler Warren. I think he'll get a lot of garbage time. Phillip Rivers, I think he's going to get the ball out quickly. I think they're it's going to look ugly at times. Seattle's probably going to dare them to throw the ball deep, and that might make it so Tyler Warren gets like 8 targets and only catches 4 of them. I mean, it's very possible, but I'm going to go with Tyler Warren comfortably. I like Isaiah Likely. He's been good the last couple of weeks. I get it. But I just with Mark Andrews still there, you just don't know who to play. And I know if there's one thing I feel like I can trust this week, it's that Phillip Rivers is not going to push the ball deep, and he's probably going to throw, low end, average depth of target throws. And I think that's going to be where Warren's going to end up benefiting from it.
You know what? I do like Tyler Warren in general today, but I'm actually going to go Isaiah Likely here. Actually, we'll do a little disagreement spot. I mean, the Bengals. I mean, you referenced it. The Bengals have allowed 3 games of 30 or more points at tight end position. If you combine the rest of the league, has allowed a combined 5 games of 30 or more points at tight end. So, Bengals are absolutely terrible. And then when you look at last week that was against Buffalo, right? That was a game that got away from the Bengals. I mean,
Yeah.
you had Dawson Knox with 14.3, and then you had Dalton Kincaid with 12.1. So both tight ends were still able to eat there. So I'm actually going to go Isaiah Likely in this spot based on opponent. If not for the Bengals, it would be Warren.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think if you're shooting for upside ceiling, likely, but I still think Warren has a little bit of a lower ceiling, but he's got a really, really good floor.
Sure.
So yeah, I mean, it depends on a little bit of what you need, and that's going to help us a lot tremendously, guys, today. With me needing more as much context as you can give us. Even if you just tell us, hey, like, I am a heavy underdog, or just let us know that you're a heavy favorite. Like, that'll help us when it comes to
Sure.
guiding you, with some more context. Now, full PPR, flex, Tetterell McMillan or Michael Wilson. Look, I got Michael Wilson ahead of Tet. I love Tet. I think it's a good matchup for Tet still, even if the Saints aren't giving up a ton of points. I have Michael Wilson at 12. I have Tet at 14. Look, it's understandable, right? I mean, to not want to start Michael Wilson against this defense. I get it. I mean, it's a scary thought, but I think the Texans can put up some points, and I think they could continue to force the Cardinals to have to throw the football like they've been doing. And you know, Michael Wilson is leading the NFL since week 11 on targets, receptions, and yards. I mean, he's got 18, 15, 7, and 16. And even in that game where where Marvin Harrison came back, Michael Wilson still had 7 targets in that game, right? I mean, he only caught 3 catches for 36, and it wasn't as big of a game. But I know Houston's third against wide receivers in terms of points allowed. If you look over the last couple of weeks, in the last 4, they're actually they're giving up a little bit more, right? They're 22nd when it comes to points allowed to wide receivers, and they're giving up right now 25.2 compared to the Bengals. Bengals are actually giving up the lowest amount of points to wide receivers right now, 15.4 over the last 4 weeks, which is actually really weird. But it just goes to show that Bengals are giving up a lot of points to the tight ends, that the receivers are just not feasting.
Yeah,
but Bengals also played two teams that don't have a very, the Bills don't have very good wide receivers. They have some solid tight ends, and you also factor in they did play the Ravens, who don't have great wide receivers outside of Flowers, and Bateman's okay. But again, that goes back to the likely point that you made before, where maybe even if it is the 2 tight ends, maybe they both can still eat. But I don't mean to get off track here from the initial question, but I will go with Michael Wilson. He's the hot hand. He's playing really well. I love Tet. If you want a safer play, I think Tet maybe is the safer play, but I still think Michael Wilson is the higher ceiling, and I think the floors are still kind of similar.
I think it's funny. I'm reading something from Adam Schefter saying during Colts practice this week, with Phillip Rivers leading the offense, the ball was said to barely hit the ground. I'm less worried about that. I'm more worried about Rivers hitting the ground, being a 44-year-old man. Anyway,
I'm also it probably didn't hit the ground because he's not putting much mustard on it. It's probably like the easiest catchable ball ever, which is good and a bad. It's a nice thing and a bad thing, I feel like.
It's yeah. That's almost like he's playing a game of cornhole out there. I'll go Michael Wilson in this spot. I get the opponent. Pete, you referenced it, but also, I mean, the Cardinals just don't want to run the ball. I mean, the Cardinals are top 5 in fewest rush attempts on a per game basis. So, I'm going to say that they throw the ball. I'm going to say, like you said, they're going to need to keep up a little bit here with the Texans. I'm going to go Michael Wilson in the spot over Tet McMillan, but it's not too far off.
Okay.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
A couple more super chats here. Boss said top kicker, Jax, Bates, San Fran, Ravens all on the wire.
Yeah, I got Cam Little ranked over all of those other kickers. I've got Cam Little ranked as my 4th ranked kicker on the week. I just love the matchup. I love that it's in good weather conditions as well. So yeah, I'm going Cam Little, and Cam Little's always good at giving you those boom weeks. He has had 10 or more points in 2 out of the last 3 weeks. Sorry about that. So yeah, give me that. One of the better kickers in fantasy, Cam Little. Do it.
Alfredo in the house. What's up, Alfredo? Good to see you, man. Said pick 2 to flex. Tet McMillan, Trevion Henderson, Terry McLaurin, Devin Neal, Quinshon Judkins, and Rico Dowdle. Yeah, I mean, for me, off first glance, Tet McMillan and Quinshon Judkins. Those would be my first 2. I really, really, really like Terry McLaurin today. I really, really do. I took his over on his yards, which is set at 60. I think Terry could be the better play over Judkins. If I was possibly going to make a change, it would be Terry instead of Judkins. But I'm going to go with McMillan, and I'll go with Judkins. But I still really, really do like Terry McLaurin. I'm not starting Dowdle, I'm not starting Neal, and I'm not starting Henderson over these guys. Henderson's close to Judkins too. I will say that, but I think Terry and McMillan, I feel, are clear cut ahead of Henderson for me.
I don't hate your McLaurin call, but I would have Henderson just edging out Terry McLaurin. I'd actually go with the 2 running backs. I'd go Henderson, and I would go Judkins. We talked about Judkins earlier. We even talked about Henderson earlier. But I don't hate your call with the Terry yards. That might have to be something I might have to further investigate when we get off the show. But yeah, I would go with those 2.
So you're not going with any of the wide receivers?
No. I just expect both of these running backs to be in the top 12 this week.
Okay, interesting. All right. Yeah, I just if I worry more about Stevenson, I like Henderson a lot. I just worry that Stevenson's going to be involved. Henderson right now projected for 44.5 yards. His receptions are set at 2.5. Ramondre Stevenson, which was it was interesting. His first game back, his yards were set so low, but Stevenson's actually projected to have just 4 less rushing yards than him, and he's set to have 1 less catch, 2 catches versus 3, 37.5 yards versus 44.5 yards. So they're both pretty close in projections, which is why I just don't have Henderson as high as I want to. It is a great matchup though, and if you're going for ceiling, Henderson can make a pop, and it's also against a bad Buffalo run defense, so I get it. I'm still going to go with McMillan and I'm still going to go with Terry. There's a world where I sit there and go, you know what? If I want the ceiling plays, I'll go with Terry and I'll go with Judkins, but I'd still go with Judkins comfortably over Henderson with no Dylan Sampson in the lineup.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just figure if we're going to disagree, give a little bit more context there.
Sure.
Oscar said, need to start a quarterback this week. Marcus Mariota, Bryce Young, and CJ Stroud. My answer may be surprising. What did he say?
You didn't say it correctly. Marcus Mariota. That's how he phrased it.
Mariota.
Yeah. Get it right, damn it.
I'm gonna let you go first, but I don't know. I'm curious if we're gonna agree here, but I'll let you go first.
I think initially off the bat here, I think I'm actually going to lean with Bryce Young in this spot. I think I'm taking a look at some of this. Yeah, I think this could be a sneaky week for a Bryce Young. I don't trust CJ Stroud. I mean, I'm looking at his last couple of weeks here. Where's CJ Stroud? Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen CJ Stroud. He had 12.6 points last week, then 9, then obviously missed a bunch of games. Yeah, he just doesn't do it for me. Averaging 14.3 points on a per game basis. I find it really hard to trust him. I'll go Bryce Young. He did, and I know he's averaging not too far off on points on a per game basis, but if you go to 2 out of the last 3 games, 31.8, he had a dud of 8.3, and then 22.5 before the bye. I think I'm going to lean Bryce Young here in this spot, and I'm not going to.
Oh hell no! That's hell no!
No, don't like it. Not good, buddy.
Why? I'm going with Marcus Mariota. I love Marcus Mariota this week. Ranked pretty high. I have Mariota as my quarterback 12. Just ahead of Jared Goff. I think I'll flip that. I'll have Goff ahead of him slightly, but I like Mariota a lot this week. He's going up against the Giants. I get it. Mariota looked bad last week, but he came into a mess of a game where, I mean, they were getting their doors kicked in. Mariota against Denver, right, a couple weeks ago, comes out and puts up 28 points, right? Before that against Miami, 19.6, then against Detroit, 20.9, Seattle, he didn't play, and then against Kansas City, 17.5, against Atlanta this year, 17.8, Raiders, 24.4. I mean, in the full games that he played where he came in as the starter, right? Didn't come in the middle of the game, right? If you remove all of those games, right? So Minnesota last week, Seattle in week 9, and then and then Dallas in week 7, right? So if you remove all of those, the lowest game he's had is 17.5 points, right? And he's playing against the Giants, who stink. So I'm gonna go with Mariota. I like Mariota a lot this week. He's projected to run at least 6 times. If you want a safe play, I would say go CJ Stroud against Arizona, because that secondary and the defense is pretty bad. But like Hauff said, I just don't think the ceiling's very high. If I was going to go ceiling, then I'd rather roll the dice with Bryce Young over Stroud. But I'm taking Marcus Mariota, man. I think he's primed for a solid week. Another week with Terry McLaurin. I mean, he was doing that without Terry McLaurin for most of those weeks.
Sure. Any concern about the weather at all?
No. I'm not. I mean,
MetLife actually about the rushing attempts. Yeah.
Well, MetLife has heated turf, so should be a little bit. I mean, yeah. Well, it does kill people. Yeah. So I'm gonna go with Marcus Mariota.
There you go.
I like the play. Did I sway you, or are you still going Stroud?
No, not Stroud. I'm still going Bryce Young.
You go by so.
I mean, you make a good case, but I'm still going. I won't be shocked if these guys finish within a few points of one another.
Okay. Two flexes, full PPR. Tyler Warren, Cortland Sutton, and Woody and Hendy. I don't know if is this like it has to be Warren or Sutton, and then you can pick one. I'm assuming you can pick any of these guys. Maybe he just typed it out wrong. I don't think it's Warren or.
And is that Jalen Warren or is that Tyler Warren?
I gotta think it's Tyler. I think. I don't know. Maybe come back here and let us know. If it's Tyler Warren, Jalen Warren, I'm going Woody Marks, and I'm going with Trevion Henderson. I would go with Henderson. I'd go with Marks. No Nick Chubb this week. I know Woody Marks, like, I don't know. Everyone thinks Woody Marks has been phenomenal. I actually just traded him today, this morning in a dynasty. I got a 2nd-round pick and a 4th for him. I don't know that he's going to be the lone guy next year. So, and I don't love this offense. Like, I like the receivers, but I'm not expecting him to. But regardless, he goes up against Arizona, 27th in points allowed to the running back position on the season. Coming off a week where he had 15 points because he did score that touchdown. No Nick Chubb. He ran the ball 26 times last week. No Nick Chubb this week. So I'm going to go with Woody. I'll go with Henderson for a little bit of a boom. Tyler Warren is more of a floor play, but I think you're going to get enough volume from Woody and Henderson to kind of match Tyler Warren's floor. And Cortland Sutton's got a tough matchup against the Packers. So I'm not in love with Sutton this week. I have him as like a low to mid, more of a lowish wide receiver too.
Yeah, we are in agreement on this one. I'm going Woody. I'm going Henderson.
Nice.
You mentioned the Cardinals not allowing a ton of points, just on the season, but the last few weeks they've allowed the 4th most points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th most points in half-point formats. 30 games, 30 points per game. Apologize for that. So yeah, I'm gonna go Woody Marks here. I normally don't, and I will go Trevion Henderson. That's the reoccurring theme for me apparently. And also in a few minutes, I'm going to drop in our link for our DFS contest. We need 3 more people. It's $5 entry, winner takes all. So I'm going to put that in the chat right now.
Okay. Thank you so much for the super chat. We appreciate that. Let's go back to our guy, Aaron here. Super flex, full PPR, Brissett, Aaron Rodgers, or Darius Slayton. Man, I mean, I understand why this is a question because Brissett's going up against the Texans, and the Texans to the quarterback position, over the last 4 weeks, they give up 12.4 points to quarterbacks. So I get being a little gun shy to roll out Jacoby Brissett. Now, with the Dolphins have also not been very fruitful, 13.2 points to the quarterback position. So, there's a little concern there. Then you look at Darius Slayton. Darius Slayton is playing against a leaky secondary in Washington. And so it makes sense if you might want to go with Darius Slayton here, Hauff. But I think my gut still says Jacoby Brissett. He's playing in a dome. I get it's the Texans and it's scary. But I just, Slayton's projected for plus 260 for a touchdown, 35.5 yards, 2.5. I mean, his floor is like 6 points, I think 7 points. And I think his ceiling is maybe 15. Jacoby is likely going to score somewhere around at the lowest, I think 10. And that's still against a good defense. But I think you're looking at a floor of about 10 and a ceiling of about 18 to 19. So I'll go with the quarterback here. Rodgers, outside cold weather, he's been good in cold weather, but Miami's defense has also played much, much better. I'll just go with Jacoby, who's been the hotter guy out of these 3 players.
Yeah, Rodgers has been good in cold weather, of course. He obviously played for the Packers for a long time, but that was a long time ago. I'm going Jacoby Brissett here. I get it. What's that?
Those bones are getting old.
That they are. Yeah, but it's not something Phillip Rivers, but yeah, give me Jacoby Brissett here. I get it. It's a scary matchup. That's why you're asking him. Pete, you referenced it. Texans aren't allowing. They're allowing little to none to opposing quarterbacks. I'm looking at this here. But I think you can. There's been times here they've allowed 19 points, 19.5, so they can be had. They haven't had a single game with allowing 20 points to a quarterback yet, though. That's kind of interesting. The only team in the NFL to claim that, but I'm still going to go Jacoby Brissett in this spot because I think I referenced it earlier. the fifth fewest rushing attempts in football, the Cardinals, on a per game basis. So Brissett's gonna have to throw the ball.
Yeah,
so give me Brissett in this spot.
I just see Rodgers moving around, just doing a lot of moving, but not doing a lot of production. I mean, they're not pushing the ball down the field. I mean, he's got a little bit of pop to him still. I mean, when I look at Rodgers, he's kind of in the pocket like this.
God down, guys.
Looks like me after too many Red Bulls.
Yeah. What'd you say?
Looks like me when I have too many Red Bulls.
That guy is he's working for the tip there.
Yeah, damn right.
Unknown ball knower with another super chat said Hunter Henry or Dalton Kincaid, Michael. Oh man, Hunter Henry goes on these weird tears where he'll pop off right for a couple weeks and then he'll just disappear. I'm gonna go with Dalton Kincaid. I'm gonna go with Kincaid. Outside like when Kincaid's been healthy this year, like credit where credit's due, man. Like he's been solid for fantasy when he's been healthy, right? He comes back last week after 3 games of missing. He catches 4 receptions, 41 yards, and a touchdown. New England's 22nd in terms of points allowed to the tight end position. And you look at just this year alone, right? I mean, he only played 18 snaps against Miami. That was the week before he got hurt, and that's the week he got injured. So he only put up 5.7 points, but he was in line for a big day. But he's had some big weeks this year. So I'm going with Kincaid. I think he's going to be more involved in this offense. I think this is a Stephon Diggs week, if anything, not a Hunter Henry week this week. So I prefer Dalton Kincaid here.
Yeah, I prefer Dalton Kincaid too, and I'll just mention this. These guys are obviously playing each other. I referenced on last week's show, I had said that the Bills had not allowed 20 points to the tight end position in any given week, and I guess they heard that and they decided to make me look stupid because they allowed 21.2 points. Be that as it may, I'm going to put the hand over the stove again. I'm going to go Dalton Kincaid here. I'm not going to play Henry against the Buffalo Bills. So, yeah, give me Dalton Kincaid in the spot.
Perfect. 43 Vandal said, $5 super chat. Appreciate that so much. Said, Burrow or Dart, Herbert or Darnold, tight end, full PPR, Warren or Theo. Let's start with the quarterbacks here first. I'm going with Joe Burrow over Jackson Dart. That is not a slight on Jackson Dart. I have Jackson Dart pretty high this week. I have Dart as my quarterback 9. I have Burrow as my quarterback 6. Burrow looked phenomenal last week. He's looked great since he's returned. I don't think he's just playing with an edge right now. Even though this team is losing, even though people are rumored to think that he wants to be traded or retire. I think he was blown out of proportion a little bit, but what are you gonna do? So I'll start with the Burrow and Dart. Are you in alignment with that, or?
I am. I wish it was another player going up against Dart because I'd be more inclined to pick Jackson Dart. But yeah, I'm going to go Joe Burrow here too. I mean, they're both ranked high, but yeah, Joe Burrow would be the play here for me.
And then for the second set of quarterbacks, for me, Sam Darnold or Justin Herbert, it's pretty comfortably Sam Darnold for me. Darnold's been good this year too, man. I mean, outside of the Minnesota game, and outside of really the first week of the season, he's given us a floor of 14 points and he's had a bunch of weeks where he scored over 20. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks this year where he scored over 20 fantasy points. So, I mean, Indianapolis, you worry that this game could get away from him. And we've seen Seattle take their foot off the gas because they just absolutely mollywop teams really early in games. And then it limits the ceiling. But I don't want to start Herbert against KC in the cold weather with his body beaten up after a long game last week, and against a Kansas City team that has nothing to lose right now. I think this is going to be a run heavy script. I think this is going to be an under kind of game, not a lot of points. So give me Sam Darnold there.
Yeah, I'm actually starting Herbert against you actually in fantasy playoffs, and I'm not feeling too great about it. I left Kirk Cousins on my bench, and that was fun to watch that on Thursday night. Screw you, Kirk Cousins, because the year prior I had him in there, and he gave me 2 points, but now I'm just babbling about myself. And anyway, I'm going to go Yeah, I know. I apologize. I'm going to go Sam Darnold in this spot as well for all the reasons you mentioned. And, the Chiefs, I mean, they are literally fighting for their playoff lives right now. Go from, dynasty, yada, 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 to, again, if things shake a certain way this weekend, they could be out of the playoffs by the time they go to bed tonight. So I'm going to lean on Sam Darnold here in this spot over Justin Herbert.
Right, and I'll let you take the last part of the question first. Theo Johnson or Tyler Warren.
Yeah, if I'm taking a look at that, I mean, again, weather conditions aren't the best here, but neither are the Commanders, almost said Redskins, in terms of covering the tight end position. So I'm actually going to go Theo Johnson in this spot. I mean, he's quiet. We're starting to hear it now, but he's quietly been one of the better tight ends in fantasy football. George Kittle named him as one of his favorite young tight ends. And we also had the Commanders last week giving up 25 points to tight ends, and the week prior, 17.1. So I will ride that hot hand. I will go with Theo Johnson in that spot.
Yeah, I think matchup wise, it feels like a nice play to go with Theo Johnson against Washington. 27th in points allowed this season to the tight end position. I'm still going to go with Tyler Warren. Tyler Warren, I just think he could be in line for some nice garbage time points. Seattle over the last 2 weeks has been kind of struggling against the tight end position, in fantasy. So I don't know, man. I'm gonna roll the dice, with Tyler Warren here, and just kind of see where the chips fall. I totally get maybe want to go Theo Johnson. The quarterback position feels a little more safer, but my gut says Tyler Warren could have a solid day. So I'm gonna go with Tyler Warren there. Some more super chats here from AZ said Jacobs, Hampton, or Kenneth Gainwell this week. Yeah, I mean, for those that don't know, Josh Jacobs is kind of a game time decision today. He hasn't practiced much this week. That knee injury, he had to get it, like, I guess, relooked at to make sure. I guess the swelling hasn't gone down, but there's no structural damage to him, which is good. I would still go with Josh Jacobs if he starts. I mean, he's playing against Denver. Denver, has been a tough matchup overall this season. But I mean, for those that know the history of Josh Jacobs and the Denver Broncos, Josh Jacobs is a Denver Bronco killer. That's what he's been. He's been phenomenal against the Denver Broncos his entire career. Amari Hampton is playing against Kansas City, and he's more in a split than we expected. Now, I did say when I got asked about before Hampton came back, I did say that I thought Vidal would probably be more of a close to a 50-50 split in the first game, and it would taper off. But Vidal looked good last week. And, with Justin Herbert banged up as much as he is, I think it's going to be more of a split than we expected. I think Vidal is going to get more touches because they're going to try to keep these guys fresh because they're going to touch they're going to touch a lot of balls on the ground. And I'm just not going with Kenneth Gainwell. Kenneth Gainwell playing against Miami in a split workload. I'm just not super excited to play Kenneth Gainwell against the Dolphins, who have been good against the running back position. And he's in a split, and I don't think there's going to be a ton of points in that game. So give me Josh Jacobs. All these games are probably going to be low scoring, and I'll take the best player of the bunch here. And Emmanuel Wilson may not play. He's also a game time decision with an illness. So Jacobs, if he is healthy, could get the majority of the workload, even if he has barely practiced this week. I mean, we've seen him put the team on his back like that. So give me Josh Jacobs here.
Yeah, I think either way, when you talk about anything outside of Josh Jacobs here, you're entering a split workload regardless. If Jacobs, for some reason, if we find out he's not playing, whatever, then I would go Omari and Hampton. I agree with everything Pete said in terms of Vidal still being a thing, but we also know that Arthur Smith loves to piss us off. And to be quite honest, if I could avoid the Steelers' backfield in the fantasy football playoffs with Arthur Smith leading it, I'm going to do so. Pete, you also referenced the Dolphins' defense has been playing better. So yeah, I'll go Josh Jacobs in this spot, and if he doesn't play for any reason, which I think he will, then I'll go Hampton.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Jacobs has been just really good over his career against Denver. From his time with the Raiders. Another super chat here. Appreciate the super chats today, guys. Nice kind of sending us out with a bang here towards the end of the season. 1 point. Stephon Diggs, Christian Watson, Jennings, Ladd, Walker need 3. Kenneth Walker is the guy I'm sitting here for sure. I'm sure Hauff is going to say the same. It's really between the wide receivers here for me. I happen to like Juwan Jennings a lot this week, Hauff, against that Titans team. Juwan Jennings has sneakily been very good for fantasy football the last 3 to 4 weeks. It's really not been talked about as much because the 49ers offense has kind of been up and down, and Ricky Pearsall was kind of the main guy people have been focusing on. And look, Juwan Jennings is the least sexy name of the three guys in Kittle, CMC, and Jennings. So I just feel like Jennings hasn't been talked about nearly as much. But I have Jennings as ranked 23 this week. I have Christian Watson at 24. I have Ladd McConkey at 25, and I have Stephon Diggs at 26. I literally have all 4 of these guys back to back, and Diggs is the lowest ranked guy I have here. And it sucks because Stephon Diggs at Coop Fiasco put out a tweet about Stephon Diggs' incentives coming off of a bye. He signed a heavy incentives deal, and there's a world where Diggs just gets absolutely peppered today. And there's a world where you just sit Ladd McConkey and go with Stephon Diggs. So honestly, as I'm sitting here, I know I'm gonna put Ladd one spot below Diggs. I'm gonna go with my gut because I think Diggs could have a good day. I'll take Diggs, I'll take Jennings, I'll take Christian Watson, and I'll bench Ladd McConkey. It's hard. It's really, really hard, but I'm gonna bench Ladd McConkey against Kansas City.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I am in full agreement with you. I was actually waiting for you to come back and take Ladd out. I mean, Ladd's had less than 2 points in less than 10 points in 3 out of his last 5 games. Last week 1.7, then he had 11.9, then 2.8, 18.7 sprinkled in there, then a 7.6. So just very sporadic. I mean, he hasn't had a 20-point game yet this year. I know some people think that's a little high for wide receivers, but I mean, if you're a good wide receiver, it's not. And I don't think anybody expected Ladd McConkey to play this way in his sophomore season. But yeah, I'm gonna go with all 3 of those that you said. Diggs, I like. Watson, I like. He's on a roll. You got to ride the hot hand there, at least in terms of these players. Jennings, I like. I dig what you were saying there. A little under the radar. Titans do allow a good amount of points to wide receivers as well. And yeah, death taxes and me not wanting to play a Seattle Seahawk running back. Take a drink.
There you go. Yeah, and it's funny because I keep advocating I like Christian Watson. I'll take him over Denver. You can't call me a homer because I'm telling you to start him, even if it's a tough matchup. I'm telling you to start him.
We got 83 people watching, by the way. I'm sorry, we have 83 people watching, 50 likes. So thank you for the likes, folks. But give us some more.
Yeah, if you're still hanging out, give us some more. So we did answer this super chat before, but I think the combination of players has now changed. This might be a different question, or it might be same team,
but definitely
adding some more players. Said need a tight end: Tyler Warren or Dalton Kincaid. One running back between Judkins, Woody, and Trevion Henderson. So I'm going with Judkins. Hauff is definitely going with Henderson. We talked about these two before. I mean, we can get into it a little bit, but I think the tight end discussion is an interesting one as well here. I've talked about how I think Warren is due for a solid day. I do like Dalton Kincaid as well this week. Honestly, I think I'm still going to go with Tyler Warren, but I do like Dalton Kincaid a lot. I think, you know what? I'll go with Kincaid. I'll go with Kincaid. I just talked about how he's been solid this year. He's got the better quarterback. I think it's going to be more points and more competitive game in that one. I'll go with Kincaid. He's been really consistent this year.
Yeah, I'm going Dalton Kincaid in that spot as well. Patriots are 12th in points allowed to the tight end position. 3 games of 20 points allowed. Then they've also, they've been allowing a good amount of points over the last few weeks too, actually. Well, except for week 13. But yeah, so I'll go with Kincaid in that spot. And I'm going Henderson, but I'll just say this. If you're, if you're asking the question and if you're in line with Pete, who's saying to go with Judkins, I have them ranked close enough where kind of go with your gut spot. But if it's me, I'm going Henderson. But if someone goes Judkins, I would not judge them. Woody would be the odd man out for me in these 3 names, even though we talked about Woody. We like his matchup too, but
yeah. Okay. All right, let's keep it rolling here. Keep it rolling. Connor Bateman said Breece Hall, Blake Corum, Ramondre Stevenson. Pick one, and then Breece or Woody. I'm going with Woody Marks over Breece. So I'll start there. That's the easy one for me. Woody Marks, the workload has been awesome. Yeah, he hasn't been that efficient. He gets a much softer matchup today. I will take Woody Marks comfortably over Breece Hall in his matchup. I think. Are
Well,
you in
she's
agreement with
saying,
that?
I don't know if he's saying Woody. He's saying
Maybe he's
Breece
saying
a
Breece
word.
a worry. Maybe he's saying he's worried about Breece. Oh,
Right.
because Breece is in the beginning of this question. I'm an idiot.
You
Yeah,
are
I
an idiot.
fucked that
But
up.
if there was a world in which you had Woody Marks too, I would go Woody Marks
Yeah,
as well.
sure.
But yeah, I reluctantly I go Breece Hall in this spot. We talked about it, how we don't really love the kind of production he's getting. Usually at name value, you hear Breece Hall, he's a plug and play right away, especially over Blake Corum. I know Blake Corum has been doing better. He's been getting more work. He's been getting touchdowns, most importantly. But I'm going to reluctantly go Breece Hall in this spot. Yeah. If
Yeah, I
there were
mean,
different names involved in this question, my answer would be different. A la Woody Marks.
well, look, the volume has been there for Breece. The matchup is scary. Now, you look at Blake Corum and, he's upticking in touches. I mean, 12 rushes, 13, 13, 8, 7, 7, 12, right? So the volume is there, but he's in a split workload and he's going up against the number one defense against running backs this year in the Detroit Lions. If this was him playing against Arizona, right, which she played last week and we had a big matchup, like I could say, yeah, I might start him over Breece Hall. I totally get that. There's a world where I'm starting Ramondre Stevenson over Breece Hall here. Honestly, I mean, it sounds crazy, and Ramondre is closer to me than Breece Hall. I think the scary thing with Ramondre is he doesn't have that kind of pop like Breece does, where he can take it and go for. But if you need a safer play this week, to me, it's Ramondre Stevenson over Breece Hall. If you need a safe play, if you need 10, you need 10 points, 12 points, it's Ramondre Stevenson. If you're swinging for the fences, then you go Breece Hall. But Breece Hall's not it. He's projected to go under 2.5 receptions. So we're talking about he's not projected to have more than 3 catches. So if he's not projected to have more than 3 catches, now his rushing and receiving yards combined is 69.5, but Ramondre Stevenson's rushing receiving yards are projected at 55.5, right? So they're decently close. Ramondre is projected to have about the same amount of catches as him. And their touchdown score wise, they're pretty close, right? I mean, Breece is plus 140. Stevenson's right around there at plus 160, 170. And honestly, he's playing in the better offense. So you need a safer play. I would go with Ramondre Stevenson. If you're looking for a higher upside play, it's Hall, but I don't think Hall has that much upside. But I'm just taking upside because he's the better player. But I mean, Ramondre Stevenson's playing a good matchup against Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo has been terrible against running backs. It's scary coming off of a bye week, and I get it. And there's concerns there, but I mean, I like Ramondre Stevenson more than I like Kyle Monunga, I think, this week. And I know you'll probably push back there because Cleveland's been pretty leaky, but I just have a feeling, man, that Stevenson's going to get touches today, and people are going to be confused. It's them coming out of a bye. We've seen what Mike Vrabel's done. Henderson is not. I'm not concerned that Henderson's not going to be good today. But I mean, Stevenson, even in his first game back, he carried the ball 12 times. He had 12 opportunities, 3 catches, 40 yards on 3 targets. That's what Breece Hall did last week. Breece Hall had 14 rushes last week. So, and Buffalo's 28th against points allowed to the running back position. So. I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy off, but I just think I don't think it's that nuts to consider playing Ramondre Stevenson over Breece Hall this week.
I'm not doing it, but I don't think you're crazy. I think they're close enough. And he's still been, you referenced it. He's still been getting opportunities. He's just Breece Hall's going to get more work here. I know it's kind of a coin flip for me for this, so that's why I'm not going any crazy. But I'm going Breece Hall here. I mean, Corum is my odd man out just because I know he had 25. If you look prior to that, 14.1. Then after that, he's got a buttload of less than 10 points, and I just said buttload on a podcast. But yeah, I know they want to rest Kyron Williams a bit to get ready for the playoffs. It is getting to be that time where we need to remember when playing fantasy, NFL teams are going to operate differently. It might not coincide with what we want for fantasy, but even with that, I'm still going Breece Hall in this spot. But I don't hate your Ramondre call. I don't.
Here are the running backs that I have ahead of Breece Hall this week: Devin Neal, Tyrone Tracy, Rico Dowdle, R.J. Harvey, Ashton Genty, Trevon Henderson, Woody Marks, Quinshon Judkins. Then obviously you have the upper echelon and the better players.
Yeah.
I have all of them. I'd rather Rico. I'd rather Tyrone Tracy. I love Tracy against Washington this week. I like Devin Neal. I think Devin Neal's got a solid matchup. I like Kenneth Walker is like right where the line kind of meets, where it's like I'd rather play Breece Hall over Kenneth Walker. I'd rather play Breece Hall over DeAndre Swift. Honestly, Aaron Jones is very close to me in a matchup that's pretty good for him. Like I don't know. I struggle with Breece today. I know you're at we're at the end of the rope here and it's tough, but like this is not week one where we're talking about Breece Hall fresh season. Like our eyes have told us a lot this year, and I'm not saying Breece Hall has been bad this year, but I have no idea what to expect with that offense today. It's very scary.
That's more than fair. That's more than fair.
So
we need one more spot in our DFS contest. I'm putting that link into the chat one more time. We need one more body, $5, winner take all. Feel free to join.
All right, we got a couple more super chats to roll through here. Unknown Baller said Gibbs and Javonte are my RB1 and 2 Neal is benched. Yeah, that's fine. Javonte and Gibbs for sure. I like Neal. I'm not going to go crazy. But yeah, that's the right call. Zach, $5 super chat. Appreciate it. Said full PPR flex Kyle Monungai, potential run heavy game but split snaps, or Ricky Pearsall, favorable matchup but low production in the last 3 games. I like Ricky Pearsall. I'm still going to go Kyle Monungai here. I'm not ready. If you're looking for ceiling upside and you're really a heavy underdog, then I would go with Ricky Pearsall. But that you got to be a heavy underdog and you're really swinging for the fences. But I would go with Monungai in many such cases.
Yeah, I'm still going Kyle Monungai here, even though I am a diehard Niner fan. But yeah, Kyle Monungai still a play. I'm not sure if you were here earlier, Zach, but talking about the matchup, I mean, the Browns have been allowing a lot of points over the last few weeks to the running back position. They're actually 7th most points allowed over the last 3 weeks. That's half-point format. So give me Kyle Monungai in this spot. He's getting a good amount of work, in my opinion, at least more than Pearsall. Pearsall is just, we're going to have a real come to Jesus conversation this offseason about where we're going to rank Ricky Pearsall moving forward. But yeah.
Yeah, I wish I had gotten rid of him in Dynasty a little faster. But we'll see. I don't know. It's all about health for him. With Brandon Ayuk likely gone, but I think San Francisco is. I mean, did they extend Juwan Jennings?
No.
Did he get the extension? Nope. So Brandon Ayuk likely gone. Juwan Jennings not extended. Ricky Pearsall with injury concerns. This team is bringing in a wide receiver next year. I think that's pretty fair to say.
Sure, and then that would make me say I don't think Ricky Pearsall is a lock in terms of, say they bring in like another wide receiver. I don't think it turns into, well, this wide receiver is going to be good, but he's probably going to be behind Pearsall. I mean, he gets no production. It's so I'm saying and speaking to, like, you said that it's all about health, and that was the reoccurring theme with Pearsall going into the year. During the year when he missed a lot of games, but even when he's back, I mean, 0.5 points, 1.8, 2.4. He's not giving me production either. Are we going to say that's because of he's back from an injury, or
he hasn't touched his targets the first 4 weeks? He had 7, 6, 11, 5. He hasn't had 5 targets, which was the lowest to start the year. In any of the games he's been back. That's the troubling thing. He's not getting the targets, right? Like, he was good to start the year. I mean, in the first 4 weeks, he had 2 games of 100 yards. I mean, this guy is talented. I like Ricky Pearsall, but this is the one thing about fantasy football, and the one thing about doing what we do is, like, I was high on Ricky Pearsall this year. I had him as a top 30 pick in fantasy. I loved Ricky Pearsall this year, and in the beginning of the year, it looked like a great call, right? 2 100-yard games, 14.8, 19.7, like in the first 4 games this year, like, but he just doesn't look the same since the injury. I don't know if he's still hurt. I don't know if it's just Brock Purdy's now there, and a lot of those. I mean, he was Purdy for the week 1 against Seattle, right? Then he didn't play week 2, and it was Mac Jones against the Saints, and then Purdy played again against Arizona, or no, Mac Jones played against Arizona. So it's just I don't know with him. It's just really, really confusing. But let's get to Kevin here because he's been waiting. And he said, flex PPR, Hall, Devin Neal or Tyrone Tracy? Yeah, I'm going with Tyrone Tracy or Devin Neal here. A little bit of a pump fake there, but I'm going with Tracy. I have it Tracy, I have it Neal, and then I have it Breece Hall. I would go with Tyrone Tracy out of this group.
I would go Tracy, but after that, I would go Hall and then Neal after that for me. I just, I feel like we just want to wish that Neal's going to bust out here. I know he hasn't played terrible, but I would still go Breece as the second guy. But anyway, I'm still going Tyrone Tracy over Breece.
Yeah, I mean, keep in mind, Devin Neal coming off. I mean, the concern was, is Taysom Hill going to be lined up as a running back and take touches, right? It has been predominantly Devin Neal's show. I mean, Devin Neal had 14 carries 2 weeks ago against Miami. He had 19 carries this past week for 70 yards. I mean, we saw him produce to the air, and we just saw him produce on the ground with a lot of touches. So, good matchup. That's why I have him higher than Hall. I'll ride with Neal over Hall today, but I'm still taking Tracy over this group. And to go back to Tracy before we get to the next question, Tracy, his over under is 70 yards with rushing and receiving combined today. Anytime touchdown plus 130, so he's almost at even odds to score a touchdown. They're projecting him to have 14 carries today and touchdown score. I don't. Oh, here we go. Yeah, plus 130, which is what I said. And then I'm curious. I want to see the receptions. He's at 2.5 receptions, so they're projecting him to actually go under the 3 catches, so about 2. I'm still taking Tracy though. I'll take Tracy in that matchup. Let's go to Abner Sanchez. I said Jalen Warren or DK my flex. Thank you so much. My gut tells me DK Metcalf before I continue here. Before I get into my side of it, what are your thoughts here? Do you have a lean?
I'm leaning on that. I hate this question. I would probably go DK Metcalf as well. Jalen Warren. I mentioned it. Arthur Smith wanting to split carry. It's just what he does. I'm not trying to be funny. It's what he does. So. And I think for me, and if this is PPR, I would go Kenneth Gainwell over Jalen Warren. I'm just working that out in my head. So I think he would be the better back if it was any kind of point per reception here. But I would lean DK Metcalf here in this spot. I think Rodgers will put up some points. We talked about him a little bit earlier. I know you had said the Dolphins defense has been playing better. This is a Monday night game. It's hard for me to really rely on Jalen Warren right now. So I would go DK Metcalf in the spot.
I'm going Metcalf too, right? I mean, Metcalf last week, 12 targets, 148 yards, 7 catches, a touchdown. This has been a little bit of an up and down, like after a hot start to the year for Metcalf, right? He then kind of fizzled out, right? But in the last, I mean, the targets have been there 7, 8, 8, 5, 12. That's what it's been since week 10. And, there's something to be said about what's going on with the Steelers, all the conversations, all the talk. DK Metcalf backs up his coach, backs up Rodgers. Heck, he was even out there as a gunner on punt last week, which is insane. I mean, like star players, and DK Metcalf is not a superstar, but he's a star. Okay, it's like you have to me, you have elite. You have superstars, then you have stars, and then you have everybody else. Like, I think DK is like right there as like a star, right? He's definitely a star on a team that doesn't have many good players. And to me, Rodgers went right to him, 12 targets last week after he defended him, after all the narrative of what's going on. Is Tomlin going to get fired? Like all this stuff. And it's not a coincidence that same week, like they went after him and Rodgers was pissed at his wide receivers and everybody coming into that game. Right. And DK Metcalf focuses in, locks in, and has a great game. I'm going with DK against Miami. I think that's the play. I have him as a top 25 play this week. I like DK a little bit more than most. So I'll go with Metcalf. Jenny Whipple with a $5 super chat said, good morning. Christian Watson or Kayshon Boutte? Panthers or Cowboys defense? Drake May or Joe Burrow? Loveland or Kelsey? I have Waller as well. Let's start off with the wide receivers here, Hauff. I'm going to go Christian Watson over Kayshon Boutte. I do like Boutte, but I'm going to go Christian Watson, who has been very, very hot.
Yeah, this is a ride the hot hand scenario for me. You referenced it a couple of weeks ago how you started to like Christian Watson, and he's been taken off. I get it, the matchup is not the greatest, but yeah, I'm still riding the hot hand there with Christian Watson.
What's funny, Christian Watson was like an absolute favorite. Me and Anthony loved Christian Watson last year, coming into the season, and then he kind of had a little bit of a down year. Didn't produce like we had hoped, and then he got hurt. And Packers' offense was just a little confusing with the distribution. I forget. Like I'm sitting here, like I love Christian Watson the last couple weeks, and I almost forget like how much I loved him last year. Like, and there's reasons. I mean, they don't have a red zone option outside of him. No Tucker Kraft. Luke Musgrave is not very good. He's okay. He's solid, but he's not a top 20 tight end in the league. And then Josh Jacobs is really the only red zone option that they have. Maybe Jaden Reed if they got creative, but there's not really many other red zone options. Romeo Dobbs is maybe the other guy, but like Watson is that guy in the red zone. So Watson's the guy for me. Then the defense here, Panthers or Cowboys defense. I have the Cowboys ahead of the Panthers. I'm hoping that the Cowboys offense can get out to a lead, and it forces JJ McCarthy and the Vikings to have to get off script and have to throw the football more. And if that happens, I do worry about that offense for the Vikings. But I think Dallas can push them to have to throw the football and have to play from behind. So I'm going with the Cowboys there. And then for the quarterbacks off, I'll let you take this one, Drake May or Joe Burrow. We haven't gotten a lot of quarterback questions this week. I guess a lot of people feel pretty confident in what they have and what their lean is for who to start this week. Who do you have between Drake May and Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow plays the Ravens. Drake May plays the Patriots.
Yeah. No, Drake May plays the Bills.
Drake May plays the Bills.
Yeah. No, you're fine. You're fine. But yeah, so initially I had these guys ranked back to back. I'm going to switch. I had May one spot ahead of Burrow. I'm actually going to go Burrow over May here. I know May has been fantastic, but I mean, the last time he played the Bills, he had 12.1 points scored. That was actually his lowest points scored on the season. So I'm going to lean Joe Burrow in this spot. I will just say credit to Drake May. He's one of two quarterbacks in the top 12 in scoring that has yet to have a game with less than 10 points scored. But that one was close enough. I will go Joe Burrow in this spot against the Ravens.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get to this end of the question here, and then I'm going to bring something up. Loveland or Kelsey, and I would go with Joe Burrow as well. Loveland or Kelsey, I'm going with Kelsey. Look, Loveland, there was a love affair with Loveland where a lot of people wanted him to work out this year, and there was a couple flashes, right? He had that big walk off, against the Bengals, and it's no shade to Colson Loveland. He's a great player. It's a crowded offense, and they're not throwing the football nearly as much. They're running the football a ton, and it is limiting the amount of volume and upside that these guys have. Now, he comes off a game with 12.9 points, right? He had 4 catches, 29 yards, and a touchdown. The volume has been solid, right? 5 targets, 6 targets, 5 targets, but he's not getting a lot of deep throws downfield. It's a lot of short, quick game targets for him. And, right now, I'm going to lean, Travis Kelce pretty heavy in a must-win game. Game, legacy game. They need this. Feels like we're saying this every week with Kansas City, but can I ask you something, Hauff?
Sure.
A couple weeks ago, everyone said, and I tweeted this out because I just can't keep up, right? A couple weeks ago, Travis Kelce turned back time, and everyone's sitting here saying, Mahomes and Kelce vintage after he had that big game against Denver, and then he had it strung together a couple big weeks, and then he has a bad week last week, and everyone's like, oh, they got to move on from him. Thank God he's retiring. All this stuff. I just can't keep up. Like Travis Kelce, is he an elite tight end anymore? No, he's still a good tight end. He's still good. This offense is just very off right now. That's it. He's good.
Yeah,
you're starting Kelce.
Yeah, no, we're starting Kelce, and I think the problem is people don't want to adjust their mindset. We all know, again, Travis Kelce, we know him to be the elite tight end. You have to just accept him for what he is. He's not elite anymore, but since he's not elite, that doesn't mean that he sucks. Just means you should lower your level of expectations. And I'm going with the mantra that again, do or die scenario here. Their backs are against the wall, and also I just think from a personal standpoint, I think Travis Kelce is just too good of a player to not respond to last week with 1.3 points, some drops. We all know that last play that turned into an interception. So I just think we get a bounce back spot here from Travis Kelce. Dude looked bummed as hell when he was on his podcast there with his brother. But yeah, I think this is a bounce back spot for Kelce. Not the elite days, but definitely better than Loveland. So yeah.
I'm with you there. So this week, how high do you have Brock Purdy in your rankings? And we're gonna move to the next super chats here. Just hang on, guys. But I'm curious because we talked quarterbacks and we haven't talked to them a lot today. But I had Purdy ranked pretty high. But I'm starting to slide him back. I had him ahead of Goff, but I don't think I can have him ahead of Goff like I initially thought.
I have Goff one spot. It's funny. I have Goff one spot ahead of him, and I have Purdy at 9. So
okay, yeah, because Goff has been awesome this year, dude. I mean, dude, he's got like I think one game under 20 points in the last like 5 or 6 weeks. Like,
well, I had mentioned I'll interrupt you quick. I mentioned Drake May was one of 2 quarterbacks with 0 games of less than 10 points. The other quarterback is Jared Goff.
Yeah,
to your point.
I have Goff at 7. I have Drake May at 6. I'm almost tempted to put Goff ahead of Drake May, but I'll sit him there at 7 because it is a tough matchup against the Rams. Jackson Dart at 8, Jalen Hurts at 9, Brock Purdy at 10, Patrick Mahomes at 11, Trevor Lawrence at 12, Marcus Mariota at 13, and Sam Darnold at 14. That's how I have it there. I think once you get past Sam Darnold, you get to C.J. Stroud, you get to Jordan Love, you get to J.J. McCarthy, Bo Nix. Like that, you start to kind of hit sketchy waters where it's like, man, I really don't want to have to start any of these guys today.
Especially not also, in the playoffs.
I saw a post that said that Prize Picks has the Phillip Rivers. You know, like they have like the pictures of the players, and it's like over under for the Prize Picks when you pick them and stuff. They have Phillip Rivers. They have it as Joe Biden in a Colts jersey as for Phillip Rivers. That's pretty funny.
All right,
that's pretty funny.
Prize Picks, jokes.
Yeah, we won't go crazy into the political lane, but
no, we
thought that was funny. Rick Stark said, need 1 PPR, Watson, Jennings, Ladd, Kenneth Walker. Need 2. Okay, sorry. I'm going with Watson and I'm going with Jennings here pretty comfortably. If I was to make a change, it'd be Ladd for Watson. But I'm not starting Kenneth Walker or any of these guys. I'm taking Watson and Jennings.
I feel like we had this question earlier, but it was with one other player. Yeah, it was.
Yeah, this one. Yeah, this one was. It was Stephon Diggs in it, and I don't know if Walker was in it. I don't know if it was the same person, but we did get one that was similar players here.
Yeah, I'm going Watson. I'm going Jennings as well.
It was from Rick, and he said he needed 3. So I guess he's locked in on starting Diggs, and then now he wants to probably pick between the 2, and I think it's Watson and Jennings.
That's a pretty easy call for me too. I'm not flipping back and forth on that. You guys know how much I hate the Seahawks running backs. And like we talked about earlier, Ladd is just not performing up to expectations. If you're playing Ladd McConkey today, you're playing Ladd McConkey based on his rookie season, not based on what he's given you the last few weeks.
Yeah,
simply put.
Yeah, I hear you. Let's see.
Watch that Ladd McConkey scores 20 points, and I'll curse him out later. But yeah, let's do it. It can be fun.
He might. Charizard said full point PPR, 1 running back, 2 wide receiver, 1 flex. ETN, Hampton, JJ, AJ Brown, and Stephon Diggs. Yeah, I mean, Hauff, you've talked about Travis Etienne a lot lately. He's been phenomenal. I know a lot of people expected Tootin to take him. I thought Tootin was still a very good handcuff, but the Travis Etienne conversation all year has been really funny, right? I mean, first it's he's the odd man out. It's going to be Tootin, and it's going to be the kid that got traded to the Eagles. I can't remember his name, but the kid that got traded. Bigsby, yeah. It was going to be Bigsby, and it was going to be Tootin, and it was going to be LaQuint Allen, and Etienne's getting traded. Then it was, oh, shit, Bigsby's traded. And then it became, all right, well, Travis Etienne, Tootin, they're going to be in a 50-50 split, and then Tootin's going to take over. That didn't happen. Then it was, okay, well, Tootin's going to take over the back half of the year. Still didn't happen. It hasn't happened. It's Travis Etienne. He's been phenomenal. You're starting him today very, very comfortably. I'm also starting AJ Brown out of this group. And honestly, it's really between JJ and Diggs for me, and I have JJ ahead of Diggs. It's scary. Diggs is the safer play. JJ is the ceiling play. If you want upside, if you're down big, I think you put JJ McCarthy out there. But if you want a safer play, you go with Diggs, you go with AJ, you go with ETN. But if I'm swinging for the fences, I'm putting JJ in there with ETN and AJ Brown.
Yeah, well said on all things Travis Etienne. Going up against the Jets, which, by the way, the Jets in the last 2 weeks, 26.5% of the points that they've allowed to running backs have come in the last 2 weeks. So they've been allowed a lot of points. So yeah, I'll go Travis Etienne in that spot pretty easily. I agree with what you say about ceiling play, go Justin Jefferson, but just I'm going Stephon Diggs here. You mentioned the incentives. There is the revenge game, which I'm sorry, I believe in that narrative, especially somebody like Stephon Diggs. We all know that picture of him staring down Josh Allen, which, by the way, congrats to Josh Allen. He's gonna be a daddy. But yeah, give me ETN here, give me AJ Brown, and give me Stephon Diggs.
43 Vandal said, who's out? Full PPR, Genty, Kyron Williams, Henderson, or RJ Harvey?
Curious for your answer here.
I mean, it's close. RJ Harvey's the guy I would sit, but I mean, we're talking about a coin flip between Genty and Harvey and Henderson. Henderson is the clear cut over. I would start Henderson over Harvey comfortably. Genty is interesting because look, Genty, tough game, but they're going to probably play from behind. And Genty's receiving volume has kept him, afloat. I mean, he's gotten a lot of receiving volume. He had 3 weeks straight of eight targets coming into last week, where he only had 4 against Denver. Philly 24th when it comes to points allowed to the running back position. They have been a little bit squishy and soft against the running backs the last couple of weeks. Now, keeping in mind, Jalen Carter didn't play last week, and the week before they just got their dicks kicked in. But I mean, ultimately, I'm taking Genty. I'm probably going to sit RJ Harvey, who's got a tough matchup as well. I like Harvey too. I don't think he's a bad play. I think I think I saw his expected fantasy points for established to run. He was one of the highest this week for expected fantasy points. That doesn't mean I have him one, but his ceiling is that high. But I'm still going to probably sit him of these guys.
I agree. It's close. It is a coin flip, but I'm getting the coin flipped on the other side. I would be sitting Genty in this spot, and I would be playing Harvey over him. Kyron Williams and Henderson are the constants here for me. I know we talked about Blake Corum. He's been getting work. He had a good game last week, but this is still Kyron Williams' backfield. So him and Henderson are also pretty close for me, to be honest. But coming up the rear, I'm going to go RJ Harvey, and I will sit Genty in this spot.
Yeah, that's
it's
fair.
Not a great matchup either way, honestly, for either.
I think the ceiling for Harvey's higher. I think Genty is a little bit safer because I think he's caught a lot of passes the last few weeks, and I think he can continue to catch passes while they're playing from behind. I think Harvey has a higher ceiling though. Iggy, right. What's going on? Iggy? Appreciate the super chat. We're been a little slow to answer these because we're kind of giving more context and we got a lot of them. So appreciate you waiting. He said Stroud or JJ today. Rest of season also Woody or Henderson in PPR. Yeah, I'm going with CJ Stroud today over JJ McCarthy. I think Stroud is a safer play. I think the ceiling is not extremely high because he doesn't use his legs, and I think they also could be up very high in that game. But I just you're running a risk with JJ McCarthy, right? And you know that. That's why you're asking the question. The floor is very, very low for JJ, which is scary. And I don't know how high the ceiling really is for JJ. I mean, what is the ceiling? 20 points maybe? And what are the odds he gets that, even in a good matchup? I just don't know. So I'm going to go with Stroud there, Hauff. And then for the rest of the season between Woody and Henderson, I'm without looking at the schedules. I'm just going to say Henderson, but I'll take a look into that a little bit deeper.
I mean, JJ McCarthy had 20 points last week, and that felt like a miracle. Prior to that, he was averaging 9 points per game prior to that one. I talked about Stroud earlier. I don't love Stroud for fantasy. I do like him for NFL purposes. But in this case, I will go Stroud over JJ. I can't stomach, like, we're in the fantasy football playoffs here. It's like, it's time to win titles. I can't trot him out there, JJ McCarthy. I can't do it. So, and then for the back half of that question, I will go Henderson over Woody Marks.
Yeah, I'll go with Henderson too. I'm looking at the schedule now. I mean, Buffalo, Baltimore, Jets. I get it. Baltimore's been better as of late, but I'm still going to go with Henderson. I just think Woody Marks is kind of a jag, and that's not to be mean, but it's just trying to be honest here.
Very mean.
He's got a he's got a bad offensive line. So
Dick.
look, like maybe that has something to play with it. That offensive line has been better, but I just don't watch Woody and think like, man, like this guy has like top 12 running back potential. I just don't see it. I
He's
like
got the
him.
volume. He's got that. He's got that going for him.
Yeah, I mean, it's coming from a guy who just traded him today. So, in Dynasty, PPR bench one: Woody, Trevor Henderson, Jameson Williams, and Diggs, currently leaning Diggs. Thanks. Good luck this week. Oh man.
That's tough actually.
It is tough. Jameson Williams has been solid since Dan Campbell's taken over the play calling. I got to give a hat tip. I wasn't extremely convinced, that would be the case, but he's been good. I have him as my wide receiver 13 this week, Hauff. I have Woody and Henderson at somewhere around like, in that 16, 17 range for the running backs. Diggs is probably the guy that I'm sitting here. Unfortunately, I do like Diggs, but I think it's Diggs. I think I'm sitting Diggs probably.
I think it is Diggs for me as well. If Woody, sorry about that. If Woody Marks had a different matchup, if he had a tougher matchup, he would probably be the one I'd be benching here, but he doesn't. So yeah, I'm gonna sit Stephon Diggs in this spot. Jameson Williams has just been playing too well over the last handful of weeks. It's hard to get off him right now. It's like a Christian Watson spot. Yeah.
JMO's also the ceiling play. I mean, look, if you're sitting here and saying like I need a floor, then I would play Diggs over Jameson Williams. If you need the ceiling, or you don't even need ceiling. If you need something in the middle plus to ceiling, then Jameson Williams makes more sense. I mean, Jameson Williams 26.9, 17.3, 19.7, 26.9, 16.6. He's had one dud, which was week 12 against the Giants, but in the last 5 out of the last 6 weeks, he's had 16 or more fantasy points, and 2 of those included 20-plus point games, and one of them at 19.7. So, I mean, you round up a little bit there, you get to 20, just for narrative purposes. Let's see. Damo said, Love or Darnold this week? I'm going with Darnold pretty comfortably. I think once you get past Darnold, I said this before, once you get past Darnold and Mariota, like the quarterbacks are kind of sketchy. I have Stroud at 16. I have Love at 17. I have JJ at 18. I'm going to go with Darnold pretty comfortably over Jordan Love this week. I don't expect there to be a lot of points in that game against Denver. I could see them scoring a decent amount of points with Seattle.
I'm going Darnold here, but I do want to give Love at least some love. Usually I bash the shit out of him, but I mean, he has played well the last 2 weeks, 25.8, 19.3. But I mean, you mentioned it. This is a tougher matchup. And this game, in terms of Phillip Rivers playing, I know, listen, it's hard to think about this. Who are we rooting for more, John Cena last night or Phillip Rivers today? I mean, everybody wants to see him go out there and ball. But this game has the potential to get away from the Colts if Rivers comes up lame. I'm going to go Darnold in this spot. Just wanted to give Love some love. That's all.
Fair enough. So that is it for Super Chats. We're at the hour 30 mark. We're going a little bit longer today. We'll answer some of these questions that aren't Super Chats. I'm going to start where Damo ended for non-Super Chats, and then anybody
we just got a Super Chat.
So I'll go to Fangorasili. I'll go to you next, and then any comments that come in after that will start to go too, and then obviously filter in Super Chats. Fly said 2 running back PPR: Genty, Judkins, Henderson, and Pickens versus Adams this week. I mean, that's like picking between. I love Adams, so I would go with Adams over Pickens. I would do it pretty comfortably. I like Adams, and I think it's 2 good players. I get it's a tough call, but I'm going with Adams. And then for the running backs, I'm benching Genty out of these 3.
Same and same. Yeah, it's just hard to go off of the touchdown upside of Adams, but again, great, nice problem to have, I should say, picking between those 2 wide receivers. But yeah.
This one's a little easier. So Hampton or Josh Jacobs? I think Josh Jacobs is the play. If he's healthy, you're putting him in the lineup.
Yeah. We had a similar question earlier, but it was with the third player. But yeah, if Josh Jacobs is good to go, Josh Jacobs he's in my lineup then.
Yeah, me too. Half point PPR, Wilson, Neal, McLaurin, Hall, BTJ. I'm going Michael Wilson. I do like Terry McLaurin if you want a little bit of similar upside with a little bit more of maybe like a safer play with similar upside ceiling. But I will go Michael Wilson, but I really, really continue to hammer home that I like Terry McLaurin a lot this week.
Yeah, he would be second for me, Terry McLaurin, but I will go Michael Wilson there as well. Again, tough matchup, but still, I mean, what he's done, you reference it over the last few weeks. It's hard to ignore.
Yeah. CMC or Marks, PPR, injury scare. Yeah, let's not get crazy. Let's start with CMC. I mean, he got you here. He's been phenomenal. If he's healthy, he's out there.
Yeah.
I think it's just one of those things where maintenance. Crazy enough, we haven't really gotten many scares with CMC on the injury report at all this year.
Yeah.
So outside
and we
of
haven't got many questions
year,
about him either. I expected a lot of questions, people panicking, but no, don't panic.
Yeah, play CMC.
Yeah, you got it.
Torn said, "Good morning. 10-team standard league. Star 2 flex, J-Mo, Woody Marks, Michael Wilson, Debo, or Kyle Monangai. Thank you." Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm going with Jamison Williams, and I will go with Michael Wilson. If you want a safer play, I'd say Woody Marks is okay to roll with there. Because, look, you think about Michael Wilson, Hauff, like, the volume has been there, but, like, is he going to score a touchdown today against that defense? I don't know. I think Woody Marks has a better chance. So I think I would actually, in a standard league, and I don't play in a lot of standards, I would probably go with Jamison Williams and Woody Marks. I would actually not go with Michael Wilson there.
I will go Jamison Williams, and I will go with Kyle Monangai. I talked about Monangai earlier, like the matchup for him. So yeah, that's where I would be leaning on this one. And I have to say, because I always say it, standard scoring is a soft porn of fantasy football.
Yeah, that's why I laughed when I was reading, because I knew you were gonna say that.
Yeah, it's
Jenny Whipple. I can start Aaron Jones, Rico Dowdle, Kyron Williams. Pick one. I'm gonna go with Kyron.
Going with Kyron. And if it's not Kyron, it's probably Aaron Jones for me. But I don't know why I'm saying that, because I'm going Kyron anyway. So
beautiful. RL, we'll get to you next. We got a super chat that just came in from Joshua Montgomery. Said defense, high points, Cowboys, Chiefs, 49ers, Dolphins, Rams. Thank you very much. No, thank you for the $5 super chat. Yeah, if I want ceiling today, it's the Cowboys. 49ers don't have the ceiling because, unfortunately, they do not generate enough sacks. Titans are not giving up a lot of turnovers over the last 4 weeks. They are giving up sacks, but that is something that the 49ers do not do very well with all the injuries this year. They're averaging, I think, 1 sack per game over the last 4 weeks. I mean, the sacks are not there, and that's what the Titans give up, and it's just not there. I'll take the Cowboys, who are the home team in this one as well. I think 49ers are actually home too, right? Are they home today? Today?
Yes.
Yeah, both teams are home, but I'll go with the Cowboys if you're looking for ceiling. I mean, there's just been so many turnovers from that Vikings defense offense this year. So if you need ceiling and you're swinging for the fences, it's the Cowboys for me pretty comfortably.
I mean, I know you're the DST guy, so I'm not so I don't have much to say at all. Just I know the Niners defense doesn't put up a lot of points, but it's kind of crazy. They only have 1 game with more than 10 points. And they have 5 games with less than 5 points scored.
Yeah, they were my surprise sneaky play this year because the schedule was really good for them, but all the injuries, no Bosa, no Fred Warner. I mean,
and barely getting interceptions.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about superstars. I mean, missing those guys, no Hufanga, plus those guys who Hufanga, obviously, Dre Greenlaw and Hufanga didn't play that much last year anyway, but still from a leadership perspective, those guys not being in the room definitely hurts when you're also down 2 other big leaders on your team with Bosa and Fred Warner. RL said, PPR pick 2, Michael Wilson, Tet McMillan, or RJ Harvey. Yeah, I'll go with Mike Wilson here. And then I'll go with Tet McMillan. I like Harvey. If you're swinging for upside, I would bench Michael Wilson. I would roll with Tet and Harvey if you need more upside play. But if you're in a solid matchup where it's a close, tight game, I would go with Wilson. I'd go with Tet.
Yeah, I know. I talked up Harvey a little bit before. Liked him over some other players, but no, in this instance, especially with it being PPR, I will go Michael Wilson and I will go Tet.
Yeah. Kincaid or Ferguson, Hauff? Kincaid for me.
Yeah, sorry, that's a Kincaid spot for me as well. I mean, I could see these guys finishing close to one another, but yeah, I'm going Kincaid.
Kusha said, need 2 running backs, 1 flex, Devin Singletary, Chris Rodriguez, Kyle Monungai, Kareem Hunt, Kenneth Walker, Devon Bailey, B-Rob if CMC's out, and Luther Burden. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to go with Devin Singletary. I like Tyrone Tracy. Singletary's definitely gotten some volume, though. So I'll take a chance on Singletary this week. I will go with I'll go with Kenneth Walker. I don't like it. And I'd probably go with Kyle Monungai. I'd go with those 3.
Yeah, I mean, I know I mentioned earlier, but I'll mention again. I mean, Chris Rodriguez is listed as questionable as of this morning with a groin injury that he's going to test out in pregame. So keep that in mind. But yeah, I'll go Kyle Monungai here. What, he needs 2 running backs, 1 flex?
Yeah.
Yeah, give me Kyle Monungai, give me Vele, and I'm actually going to sneak in Devin Singletary here.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I took Walker over Vele, but the rest I agreed with you on there. JC said between Gainwell, Worthy, Bill, if C-Rod starts. Yeah, I would. I mean, I would go with Worthy there with Marquise Brown out. I don't love Gainwell in this spot. I'm just not a fan. I'm pretty low on him. I have him as my running back 36 this week. I'm not high on Worthy either. I have him as my wide receiver 40, I think. But
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Worthy though.
It's a pick your poison spot. But I'm actually going to lean Gainwell there slightly. I know I bashed Steelers running backs, but I mean the answer changes when the names change. So I'm going to go Kenneth Gainwell here, not by much.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, if you need the floor, I would say Gainwell. If you need the ceiling, I'd go with Worthy. E. Will said Jaden Higgins or Jaden Reed. Yeah, I'm going with Jaden Higgins here over Jaden Reed. Reed's got a tough matchup with Denver. Jaden Higgins has got a soft matchup with Arizona, and Higgins has been good. He's the clear cut number 2 wide receiver at this point.
Yeah, it's a Jaden Higgins spot. I mean, Reed too with the Packers. I mean, we've talked a lot about Christian Watson today. It's just it's hard for wide receivers to be kind of alphas in that system. It just doesn't allow it. I mean, I know we're going to have the same goddamn conversation next summer about this, and people aren't going to listen to me. But yeah, I'll go Higgins.
Okay. Said just some constructive criticism. No need to dwell on every chat question for 5 minutes. Well, keep in mind, when it's a super chat and people are paying, we like to sit and we like to make sure we go over the questions. We've also been pretty good this year at answering pretty much everybody. But I think it's also important that we start giving more context and not trying to get to every single person as much as we have. That's some criticism that we're doing internally and realizing, hey, I think it's better and a better quality show instead of just giving you guys names and ripping through questions as fast as possible to get to everybody. We give as much context as we can sometimes. So yeah, I think but appreciate it. It's
nothing
all good.
Wrong with a little constructive criticism.
Yeah, we're open to hearing things if you guys think some stuff can make the show better. But I think we've been pretty good this year at going through questions pretty fast. PPR, Hampton or Aaron Jones this week?
That's Hampton comfortably for me.
Yeah. I'm going to go Aaron Jones. I like the matchup for Aaron Jones this week. I think it's a much better matchup. I think there's more points in that game. And I think Aaron Jones, they're both the lead guys in their rooms, but I think Hampton's the safer floor play because I think he does overall get more volume. But I think Aaron Jones has the higher ceiling in that matchup. Aaron Jones or Tyrone Tracy? Thank you in advance. Yeah, I'm going with Tracy pretty comfortably here.
Yeah, same.
Okay. Shakir or Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. looked good last week, Hauff. I don't know if that's what we can expect going forward. But he did look good last week. I have Brian Thomas Jr. ranked ahead of Khalil Shakir. The only concern that I have is that this Jaguars team gets ahead and there's a lot of mouths to feed on that offense. And Brian Thomas Jr. doesn't get fed before they get ahead. Which maybe limits it. It limits what he does. Where Shakir is going to be in a competitive game the entire week.
Pretty interesting. The Jaguars had 3 wide receivers finish inside the top 24 last week in half-point scoring. I'll go Brian Thomas here. Don't expect what you got during the rookie year, but I think we see a little more upside than Shakir.
Okay. Cool. Michael, this one's for you. Hey, Michael, I have McLaughlin. Just checking your rest of season rankings for kickers. McPherson, Borregals, which is the Patriots kicker, Pinheiro are on waivers. Should I change for week 16, 17? Thank you in advance.
I would not. I'd still go Chase McLaughlin here. If you went with anybody, I would go with Borregales. I don't like, I know you're asking for week 16, 17. I don't like Borregales today in particular, but I do like Chase McLaughlin the most out of these names. McPherson's got the upside for the points, and Pinheiro, we need to see how the hamstring works out. So he is returning today as the Niners are coming off bye. But no, give me Chase there.
By the way, Brian Thomas Jr., his over-under is 3.5 receptions. It's plus 110. They're pretty much projecting him. It's minus 150 for under 3.5. So they think he's going to catch about 3 passes today. 45.5 yards is where the line is set, which makes me kind of want to pivot a little bit back to Shakir. Just because I think it's a more competitive game, and you just really have to hope. And that's why the Brian Thomas Jr.'s numbers are pretty low, in my opinion, because I think that, the fact that they're saying 3 catches, it's like we said, a lot more mouths to fill in that offense, and just off the sheer fact alone that, the game could get out of hand pretty quickly.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I'm still going BTJ in that spot. I mean, Shakir, I get it too, but I mean, he's only had 1 game with more than, and granted it was a double-digit target game, but outside of that, he's had 3, 4, and 3 targets over the last few games. So, but I mean, it's close. But
yeah, look, Vegas is not the end all be all. I think it's good to kind of get an idea of where the lines are sitting.
It helps.
But we like to kind of bring those in and give you some perspective as to where they have it. Troy Franklin, Jaden Higgins, or Alec Pierce desperately need one of them with T. Higgins out. Yeah, I'm going with Jaden Higgins. I tried to pick up Jaden Higgins in Hauff's league against him. Unfortunately, there's a rule where if the player's dropped, you can't add him until next week. So I'm not going to be able to pick up Jaden Higgins. But I would go Jaden Higgins over these 3.
That's a Jaden Higgins spot for me as well.
Okay. Shield said, which kicker for this week, Dicker or McPherson?
I'm going Evan McPherson. I got him ranked as my 6th ranked kicker on the week. I think he puts up some points. I do like him rest of the season. Again, let me get my words out. Just mentioned Chase McLaughlin, who I like more. But yeah, in terms of this week, McPherson over Dicker the kicker.
So would you take Pinheiro, Prater, Butker, any of those guys over Dicker this week or no?
I have Pinheiro ranked. If you want to play Pinheiro, you're more than welcome to.
What about
the rest of the names?
What about Jake Moody? Cairo Santos, probably not. Young Hoku. No. What about this Mevis guy from the Rams?
It's funny. I have him ranked right behind Eddie Pinheiro. So not a bad play. Doesn't always get a ton of field goal attempts. I mean, last week he did pretty good. He was one of my streamers, but Jake Moody was also one of my streamers who came up super fucking lame. So
yeah, I'll probably stick with Dicker, I guess.
Is that against me or?
No, this is another league.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make it all about me.
Marky Mark, full PPR, pick 2, Michael Wilson, ETN, or Rashee Rice. Yeah, I think Michael Wilson's a sit here. I'd go ETN and Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
And then I'd go Dart over Purdy.
Yeah. Yes to Dart over Purdy, and yeah, I hate to leave Michael Wilson out, but with those names, yeah, I'm expecting I'm not saying they're going to win this week, but I'm expecting a bounce back from the Chiefs offense.
Yeah, I mean they got to pull out all the stops.
Yeah.
Fellas, this is it. Need 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers in the defense. Kyron Williams, Henderson, Woody Marks, and then Jacoby Myers, BTJ, Judy, Slayton, Broncos, Bears. Yeah, I'm going with the Bears defense. I did slide Denver down the more and more I thought about it. I think Denver's just a safe play, but the ceiling's just not going to be there. I ranked them pretty high based off of the safeness of it. And, I don't want people to get burned too much by playing some of these crappy defenses like the 49ers in good matchups, but I did slide the Broncos down. I do have the Bears as the defense that I would pick here pretty comfortably. And then for the 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, Hauff, I'll let you take it off, kick off who you have for these.
Yeah, I'm going Kyron Williams. I'm going Henderson. Marks is not far behind, so there's a reason why you're asking that question. I do like the matchup, but no, I'm still going to go Kyron. I'm still going to go Henderson. In terms of the wide receivers, I would actually go with Jacoby Myers over BTJ. And I think I'm going to lean with Darius Slayton slightly over Jerry Jeudy in this spot. Judy coming off a 15-point game, but I think I'm going to roll with Slayton here.
Okay. Yeah, I would go with I'd go with Kyron for the running backs here. Yeah, I mean Henderson and Marks are pretty close. For me, I have them one spot between each other. I would go with Woody Marks today. I'd go with Woody Marks, and then for the wide receivers, Myers, BTJ, Judy, Slayton. I would probably go with Myers there, and then I would go with BTJ.
Yeah, right.
All right, a couple more questions here. We'll try to get to, and then we'll get out of here. No Life said Brissett, Love, or JJ. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Jacoby. Actually, oh man, this is one of those worlds where I will actually go with Jordan Love over Brissett.
I'm gonna go Brissett, but slightly over Love, slightly.
Okay. Randy
almost
said Premium League. What? Almost got
I said they almost got me to pick him. Yeah, almost.
I said Premium League, flex Fannin or Watson, already starting Kittle and McBride. I probably wouldn't want to roll 3 tight ends out, even if it's a premium. I do like Fannin this week, but I would probably go with Watson. I just think you're limiting the upside running out 3 tight ends. That just the odds, the math just isn't going to say that there's going to be. I mean, the 12th tight end on the week is probably going to finish as like the 30th wide receiver on the week. You know what I mean? Like the odds of you getting enough from all 3 of these guys is not high, but I would go Kittle and McBride over Fannin. I do like Fannin, but I would play Watson over Fannin in this situation.
Yeah, same to everything that you just said. Absolutely.
Okay. Who to flex? Gainwell, Tyrone Tracy, QJ, or Alec Pierce? I think it's Tracy comfortably for me.
Yeah, Tracy for me as well.
Dallas, Carolina, or Kansas City? I'll go with Dallas. Start May or pick up T-Law and start him. I'm not even going to ask you this off. I think we both know you're starting Drake May here.
Yep.
Warren,
Lawrence should have a decent game. Just saying. But
yeah,
whatever.
Warren's likely or Jaceki. Hauff said likely. I'm still going to go with Warren here. I don't think Jaceki is starting over either of them for us. Elite the Reaper said Sanders, Brissett, or Mariota. I love Mariota. I've talked about him before. I'll take him comfortably over these 3. I don't know where Hauff sits right now, but I'll take Mariota over these guys.
I'll go Brissett over Mariota, but it's close. But Sanders would be the odd man out here. He had a good game last week, though. I just don't know if he does it again.
Yeah, well, it's the weather. It's going to be freezing, so we'll see how they respond.
Right.
But he did play in cold weather in Colorado. Need 1 tight end, 1 running back, 2 flex. Tracy, Ramondre Stevenson, Trevion Henderson, Khalil Shakir, Roma Dunze if he plays, Darren Waller or Brenton Strange. Yeah, I'm going Strange over Waller. I do like Waller, but I'm going Strange over Waller. I would go with Trevion Henderson, and I would go with Tyrone Tracy. I would put Stevenson, Shakir, and Dunze. Even if he plays, I'd put him on the bench.
Yeah, Strange for sure. I'll go Tracy. I'll go Henderson, and then I'll go Shakir here in this spot. I'll go Shakir.
Yeah, I didn't see that there was one more. I'd actually go with Stevenson over Shakir.
Okay, I don't hate that.
Let's see. Another league, full PPR. Need 1 running back, 1 flex. 2 flexes: Stevenson, Kenneth Walker, Rico Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard, Singletary, Luther Burden. Thanks for your help. I'll go with I'll go with Rico Dowdle. And then for the 2 flexes here, I will go with Stevenson, and I will go with Kenneth Walker here.
Stevenson, Hubbard over Dowdle for me. And God damn it, they made me do it. I'll go Kenneth Walker. That's gross.
Yeah, team 2, who to flex? Dunze, Jaden Higgins, QJ. Tyrone Tracy or Higgins for me. I'm going to go with Tracy pretty comfortably. I think you would as well. Full PPR, Mayer, Burrow, and Diggs or Neal. We talked about this before. We both lean Burrow. Diggs or Neal, I would go with Diggs over Neal.
Same.
Okay.
Same.
Well, any props you guys like today? I like Terry McLaurin over on his yards. I got it at 60. I saw some places you can get it at like 58. I like Terry McLaurin over his yards. Hauff, do you like anything today?
I gotta be honest. I'm sorry. I didn't really look at the prop bets yet. I was busy shoveling snow like a real man this morning.
I'll get there. Greek boy said Judkins, Jacobs, Harvey start 2. Yeah, I'm sitting Harvey in this spot over these guys.
Yeah, this spot. Yes, I will do that. We had something similar earlier, but yeah, I'll go Judkins and Jacobs.
Yeah. Shield said, which defense, Eagles or Texans? I'm going to start the Eagles today. Shield said, love the work. You guys keep it up. Appreciate that. Mitchell Koski said, half point PPR, double flex, have one spot for Aaron Jones, Hunt, and Kenneth Walker.
Aaron Jones for me. Double one spot. Yeah, Aaron Jones.
I thought he said two maybe, but yeah, I would go with Aaron Jones here. This one is Stinky Cup or Mac Hollins. Oh gosh. I
Neither.
don't even know. I haven't even thought of those guys. Oh, Roman
Cooper
Dunes is
Cup,
Zach,
but
by the way.
Okay, I got that. All right. Cooper Cup, but this is the grossest question we've been asked today. Sorry.
Yeah, I'll go with Cooper Cup as well. I'll get to you in 1 second. We'll get to the super chat. Deborah Van Dyke said, Chuba Hubbard or Jacoby Myers, full flex PPR. Thank you, guys. Yeah, I'm going to go with Jacoby Myers here. He's been good. I do worry about the game getting away from them, but I mean, he's been good. I would expect him to be involved before they go up big if they do where the game gets away. So I would go with Jacoby Myers here.
Yeah, if this was a half point or a standard, my answer might be different. But I mean, we've got 3 straight weeks of Jacoby Myers getting over 10 points, and that's in half point formats, mind you. So yeah, I'll go Jacoby here.
Okay. Goddard or Theo Johnson? Thanks for all the help, fellas. Week 1 of the playoffs. I need the upside. Yeah, if you need the upside, I'm going to go with Theo Johnson. More competitive game. We saw, Evan Ingram absolutely cook Bobby Wagner, who's just not very good in coverage at this point in his career at his age. If you need the upside, you're going Theo for me.
Yeah. A lot of points allowed to tight ends from the Commanders. So yeah, Theo Johnson.
Kevin, hi. No PPR, likely or Andrews this week. If it's not a PPR, I'm going with Andrews. He's getting less volume, but he's more of the guy that gets looked at in the red zone.
Yep.
Alex, likely Strange or Waller. I think we both say Strange.
Yeah. Here I'll go Strange.
Okay. Kevin, also pick 3 non-PPR: Swift, Neal, Chase Brown, Dowdle, Tracy. Yeah, Chase Brown for me, Dowdle as well, and I would go with Tracy even if it's non-PPR.
3. Yeah, Swift, Chase Brown, and then Tracy.
Yeah. If it was PPR, I'd actually prefer Neal over Tracy, but it's not.
I probably still wouldn't, but whatever.
Half point PPR, Fannin, Monungai, Sutton, or Pittman. I'm gonna actually go Fannin here. I like Fannin this week. I think Hauff's gonna say Monungai, but I'll go with Fannin.
Yes, he is. Yes.
Actually, it's a half point PPR. I'll go with Monungai. I didn't read the half point part. I would go with Monungai.
Got to read the question. God damn it. Yeah. No, I'm going Monungai here over Fannin, but Fannin would be next in line.
Okay. Justin Jefferson, Jalen Warren, Devin Singletary in the flex spot. I would go with Justin Jefferson here.
What kind of fucking world are we living in where we got to get asked that question? And that's no disrespect to the question. It's the fact of the year Justin Jefferson's had. But yeah, no, I'll go Jefferson.
Yeah. Super chat from MTB, so I'll get to him next. He said, I need 2 running backs, or she. I need 2 running backs, 1 flex. Woody Harvey, Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Warren, Michael Wilson. Man, it's crazy that we're even having Jonathan Taylor in the conversation too, but I get that. I would still start Jonathan Taylor. I don't care. I'll die on his sword. I just don't care. I think the volume's going to be very, very heavy for him. I would go with Taylor. I would go with Woody Marks, and I would go with Michael Wilson.
Yeah, Jonathan Taylor for sure. You've come this far with him. That's it. It's a nut cutting time, ride or die. Pull the pin, throw the grenade, all the things. Give me Jonathan Taylor, give me Woody Marks, and yeah, Michael Wilson.
Beautiful. Let's see. Damn, my throat's getting stretchy. Couple more here.
No, we've been doing this for an hour and 58 minutes.
I know. The only crow said Dak or Drake May. I can't decide. I'm going Dak very comfortably.
Yeah, I'll go Dak here. Yeah, agreed. I'll go Dak here. Not as comfortably as you, but I'll still go Dak.
Well, funny enough, our next question is the same question. So, yeah, we cleared that. I think Dak is still the high upside play. Purdy Mahomes this week. Hauff, what do you got?
Brock Purdy, I will go with. I know I said I expect a bounce back here from Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs offense, but I think Purdy puts up a couple more points than Mahomes today.
Okay. And then we got another super chat from MT. $6 super chat. I'd say the need to run. We just answered this one.
Yeah, we just got
so
that.
I kind of feel bad that you sent in 2 super chats. But yeah, I think for me, I think it's Woody Marks. I think it's Jonathan Taylor. I think it's Michael Wilson. If you need upside, I'd actually swap out Michael Wilson for Harvey this week if you need the upside. But I would go with Woody, Jonathan Taylor, and I would go with Harvey. I think the scary thing here is you go Jonathan Taylor, you go Michael Wilson because they've just been that good. But you likely are one of them is likely not going to pop. They might have a solid game, but likely not going to pop. Jonathan Taylor, tough matchup, plus the quarterback situation. Michael Wilson, tough situation in general, right? How much does he get into the end zone? He might get volume, but does he get into the end zone today, right? Harvey has the ceiling, in my opinion. Woody has the ceiling, in my opinion. So I think probably if you're looking for upside, you're starting both of those guys. And then honestly, I would probably still start Jonathan Taylor over Michael Wilson if I was looking for that upside. Let's see a couple more. Juwan Jennings or Devin Neal in the flex. I'm going to actually go Devin Neal here. I like Juwan Jennings, but I will still go Devin Neal in this spot.
I will go Juwan Jennings in this spot.
I figured. Dustin said Diggs, Devontae, Wilson, what to? Yeah, I think you're starting Devontae, and then I think you're going Wilson. But Devontae's going to give you upside here. So if you need, if you want a little bit of floor with solid upside, I'd go with Devontae Diggs. But if you, if you're looking for, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, Wilson's upside I think is limited, but I think he gives a better floor than Diggs. But I'd go Devonta, and I'd still go Wilson here.
I mean, it's the target share that Wilson's been getting the last few weeks that makes that an easier one for me. But yeah, it's Devontae that's the lock of the question.
Yeah. Jackie, Tyler Warren, Isaiah Likely. I'll go with Warren. Hauff is still unlikely. And then the last question we have here is from So Turtles that said start Shedeur or Jordan Love. I'm starting Jordan Love here. Shedeur had a good week last week. I trust Jordan Love. Tough matchup for both of these guys, but give me Jordan Love.
Yeah, give me Jordan Love in this spot too. I mean, Shedeur, again, you just said all the right things. I mean, he had a good game. I don't know if he can have the same performance again, but yeah, give me Jordan Love.
Awesome. Well, that's going to do it for us, guys. We got all the questions. We pretty much got to every question, or at least did our best. Just some shout out to our super chatters, MTB, Deborah, Joshua Montgomery, Fly X, Damon, RS 114, Iggy, 43 Vandal, Charizard, Rick Stark, Jenny Whipple, Abner Sanchez, Kevin M 13, Zach Branzik, Unknown Baller, Connor Bateman, Sharaf, Rick Stark again, AZ Techers. I probably can't pronounce that one. Our guy Aaron, Oscar, Alfredo Barrios. What's up, Alfredo? Appreciate that again, man. Boss, T71, Jesus, Michael BM4TG. The day is full. Kicked us off for the first super chat of the day. Jared Fortin as well in the house. Stephen Drakes. Thank you guys so much. We very much appreciate all the love that we got today from everyone. I will knock these last questions out really quick since we got them while I said all that. I would start Metcalf over Diggs, Shedeur, Nix, or McCarthy. I would start McCarthy over Nix and Shedeur if you want some ceiling. If you want the safer play, I'd go with Bo Nix. And for the last question here, Trevion, Kyron, McLaurin, PPR need 2. I would go with Kyron, and I would go with Terry McLaurin. That's going to do it for us, guys. Hauff, do you have anything else that you want to say before we sign off?
Just that I think I would do Shedeur over Nix, but yeah.
Would you do McCarthy?
No, I don't want McCarthy. I wouldn't do McCarthy over Nix. I would probably go Shedeur, Nix.
So you're starting
McCarthy.
Shedeur out of those 3.
Yes.
Okay. Anything else that you want to say before we leave?
No, good luck to everybody in the fantasy playoffs. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the super chats. Appreciate it immensely. And hopefully we're all celebrating come tomorrow.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much. Enjoy the games, and we'll see you guys next week.